No, I know it might be early, but we're going to just get right into it here in just a minute. See if we can get any kind of lives going. We'll go through a few of them. See what
That's
they got.
crazy. We're looking out into the whole universe.
If you don't want me
There's
to
no
do this,
way
I'll
there
take
should
it
be a
down.
correlation of
I'll turn it
structure
down.
with our motion of the Earth around the sun.
All that stuff.
The center of the universe. The new results are either telling us
Again,
that
I'll
all of
take it down,
science
but I'm
is
just
wrong
reading
and
out straight
we're the
content
center
for
of
a
the
while
universe.
To fill the
That makes sense
space
to me.
while we...
Or
YouTube's blowing
maybe
up.
the
I need to
data
do
is
something.
simply incorrect. Or
Normally
maybe it's
it'd be
telling
like a
us there's
restream of my
something
shit, but I
weird
ain't
about
got
the
set up
microwave
yet, so bear
background
with me,
results
folks.
that
This is
maybe
the homie.
there's something wrong about our theories
Got it
on
down.
larger scales.
He's got all
And
their
he
fancy
was quoted
words
a
down
second time
to use against
here
him. He's got all the science down.
that there
He
may be any
understands all
kind
this
of
shit.
statistical fluke or foreground
He's trying to trick
contamination
all the
producing
theoretical
these shocking
physics.
results has
When
been
you don't need to go there,
discounted in the order of
prove it all fallacy,
99.9%.
fallacy by
When
default,
Krauss
but being
commented in
theoretical.
USA Today
He's
on
a
a
legend.
paper written by Templer and Smaller that demonstrated the equations that make dark energy superfluous,
Even though I
he
dive into that
concluded
stuff
that
every
the
now and then.
only way the
I prefer
equations
not
would work is if the Earth was, quote-unquote, literally at the center of the universe, which is, to say the least, unusual. Let God be true and every man a liar? Thank you.
I told you, Krauss, Hawkins, Fred Doyle, I had the list years ago. I found that out before a lot of people don't know about him.
So don't
But
believe
yeah,
me,
they knew
but
geocentric was real.
so desperate for a curve, he turned his hairline into a hun. That's funny.
So
He is,
desperate.
if you've ever seen this guy, he says the most, like, I think he's quoted as saying, if you can understand nothing, you can understand everything. And it's just like the most paradoxical, but people that don't know any better will be like, oh my God, he's so smart. But it's just dumb, you know? God, I'm going to skip this. This has to do with redshift hypothesis for quasars. Basically, more redshift that we notice in the cosmos, and they make time charts and mathematical charts for all of them. Okay, there's 57 here total that are all around the same level of redshift, which is kind of what we're talking about here. Why is there such a consistency with the redshift when we look out into the night sky, when that should not be the case? Okay, a few years ago, it was pointed out by Burbage that a number of quasars have an absorption line redshift of 1.95. He also drew attention to the fact that there are 4 quasars, these are the names of them, whose emission line redshifts are
It
extremely
looks like
close
his
to
hair
1.95.
does curve.
The absorption
His
line
head curves 1
redshift
degree
at
every 6 miles. That
1.95
hairline
has
has a
been
big arc to
subsequently
it.
discussed
That's
by
pretty
the
funny.
Burbages and others in a number of papers. It appears, however, that the significance of this coincidence of 4 emission line redshifts at 1.955 has remained unappreciated, and also perhaps not recognized, that here are, perhaps are also, oh my gosh, Sally, get it together. Perhaps, I'm going to try it one more time. And also, it is perhaps not recognized that here are many other similar groups where the redshifts of 2 or more quasars lie very close together. In this paper, we discuss a very serious consequence of these coincidences, assuming the redshift hypothesis for quasar spectra. So they're listing all of these that have some similarities. Okay, just to summarize that.
And I'm thinking, I'm zoned out.
He goes as far as to list 3 possible, excuses or perhaps explanations for this phenomena, okay? And he says there's 57 in here, which there are. There's 57. And they arrange into a spherical shell with the Earth at the center, which should not happen with a big accident, bang, explosion, right? This is certainly an extraordinary result. Some of the possibilities that we shall consider to accommodate the result may be disturbing, but we must consider these possibilities dispassionately, meaning unbiasedly. Option 1, coincidence in distances could be possible if they were clustering. However, an examination of the coordinates of the various members of individual groups shows that, in most cases, there's no such correlation. Hence, this explanation has to be ruled out. So, it doesn't work. Number 2, quasars may be arranged like atoms in a crystal lattice, with the Earth being either at an empty lattice site or at a suitable interstitial? Not sure what that word means. Site. Should that be the case, one would expect some pattern of regularity in the directions of quasars.
Still not solid. I'm sorry, pasted it and thing. Saving
No
as an image.
such evidence is found, and this possibility must also be abandoned. So then we get to option 3. The Earth is just the center. The arrangement of quasars on certain spherical shells only with respect to the Earth is only with respect to the Earth. These shells would disappear. These shells would disappear if viewed from another galaxy or a quasar. This means that the cosmological principle will have to go, which the cosmological principle is that the Earth cannot occupy a unique or special position. We went over that earlier. Cosmological principle would have to go. Also, it implies that a coordinate system fixed to the Earth will be a preferred frame of reference in the universe consequently. Both the special and the general theory of relativity must be abandoned for cosmological purposes. And I'm so sorry that there's so much traffic. I did not expect every loud vehicle in Pennsylvania to be driving past me when I did this, and I guess like crashing in the process. I don't know what is going on. This is, of course, our favorite. I don't know. I love making fun of this guy because there's no way he's like real, you know? You can't hear it. That's great news, dude, because it was like really, really, really loud for me. So maybe I should just get out of my head. I'm in my head a lot when I have so much background noise, you know? I feel like it's such a disturbance. Okay, so Stephen Hawking acknowledges things like this, and he says, all this evidence that the universe looks the same in whichever direction we look might seem to suggest that there's something special
I'm reading
about
on
our...
autopilot, so how he's reading that right there, I would be like basically zoning out if it's like a 5-paragraph thing, and then I'll stutter and catch myself and come back to about sometimes 2 to 5 minutes in before I realize.
Slide that I actually put some work into, and this is just a clip.
But no, the background
I'll
noise
play
don't
for you
bother me.
guys. It's about 2 minutes, which I'll put my windows up for this so that it's not drowned out by... I'll put my windows up for you guys, and then we'll play this. It's barely noticeable. That's really relieving. Oh, there's a mosquito out here now. Cool. He is strange. He survived... Okay, so fun fact about Stephen Hawking. He is the longest surviving ALS survivor, quote unquote. The average person dies within like 5 years, I think, of ALS, having it. And he survived, I think, more than 50. And he's also like the top proponent for string theory and like black holes and, you know, you name it, like quantum. He's just like this major proponent. He's written God knows how many books, right? Like, how did he write a book at all is the question, but whatever. He was probably replaced. I don't know about that.
There's
but
no
I feel
real
like,
science here.
he was a puppet. There used to be a WikiLeaks video about him that I take with a grain of salt.
We discovered a star and you get to name it.
They were saying, I'm like barely remembering this, so, and it's obviously take it with a grain of salt, don't just believe me. But they were saying that they kept him like heavily sedated. Like allegedly they found this guy that like used to work with him or whatever, and he kind of whistleblowed a little bit, and he was saying they kept him like heavily sedated, and basically like he didn't even control his like talking device that he used to use, whatever. It's just crazy. But for the sake of getting this over with, I'm going to play this. This is Michio Kaku, and I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is in this.
There is a crisis in cosmology. Usually in science, if we're off by a factor of 2 or a factor of 10, we call that horrible. We say something's wrong with the theory. We're off by a factor of 10. However, in cosmology, we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120. That is 1 with 120 zeros after it. This is the largest mismatch between theory and experiment in the history of science.
Dark matter. I get asked what it is, and my best answer is, we haven't a clue. We don't know what it is. We look out in the universe, and 85% of all the gravity that's out there has some mysterious unknown source. We add up all the stars, the galaxies, the planets, the comets, the black holes, the dark clouds, everything out there that we can see, touch, smell, or taste, and it doesn't add up to give us the gravity that we see operating in this universe. So really, we should be calling it the dark force, because we don't know if it's made of matter. It could be a profound misnomer, sending people off in thought directions that might not really be the right path. So dark matter is just simply what we call this thing about which we know nothing, responsible for 85% of the gravity of the cosmos. We've known about dark matter since the 1930s. Back then it was called missing mass. That's what it was called. Because, yeah, there's got to be some mass. Where is it? We can't find it. It's got to be here somewhere, because we got the gravity. If you have the gravity, you got to have the mass. Mass and gravity go together. It's really dark gravity. Actually, we shouldn't call it anything. We should call it Fred. Something that has no meaning, because we don't know what it is to call it. But it is the longest standing unsolved problem in modern astrophysics.
Now here's two of your top science.
Okay, and I got that from the D-nodal debate, or I think that's his name, which is pretty good. And the first part, when Michio Kaku is talking, he's talking about, I believe, what likely is he's talking about is the cosmological constant problem. And I did start this, but it's a lot to get into. And I did not finish it. I ended up wrapping things up because I spent all day just like putting this stuff together mostly. I think when I started it, I was like right here. I was on this slide, which I also want to, add more of like the Neo-Tychonian model. I want to read through that and try to pick some stuff and make like more slides. That's why this one's blank. And then I just went straight into like MMX and Dayton Miller, and probably do some like Maurice Elias stuff in here too. And God knows, I mean, you can do so many different things with geocentrism. You can take it in so many directions, and it's hard to make it like flow, if that makes sense. I think I did okay. But the cosmological constant problem is when, the cosmological constant is dark energy. Okay. It's like the energy that causes the universe to expand. And when compared to the energy of a vacuum, which you get by taking the sub-zero points of, I forget exactly how they do it. You could literally Google it. My hotspot's not on, but you can, Google how to get like the energy of a vacuum. But you take the energy of a vacuum and you compare it to what they assume the cosmological constant to be, the dark energy. It's off by a factor of 120. And then this then stems into like Hubble tension. And I want to take it in that direction. So, but I also found this today, in this by Steven Weinberg, who's a major glober. The failure to detect the motion of the Earth through the ether was, we recall the great progress made while finding a way out of various crises in the past. So he actually refers to the failure to detect the motion of the Earth through the ether as a crisis in the past, right? Which I think is worth mentioning because, like I said earlier, almost every glober that I talk to about MMX who actually has any familiarity with the experiment whatsoever usually says that it had nothing to do with motion of Earth. Bro, it's in the title. They definitely accounted for it. It's in the formulas. Like, it's just nuts. But, and then of course this guy, when I'm looking into the cosmological constant, crisis or problem, whichever you want to call it, he even says that the failure to detect motion of Earth through an ether was a crisis, whatever. So I think that's pretty cool. I'll put my windows back down. I guess we're done then. I think that was my last slide. Yeah, that was it. And then there's a guy next to me, like tearing his van apart. Let's see. Save the changes. I don't think I made any, but sure, just in case. Got any research on gyroscopes? Yeah, I have gyroscope schematics and like blueprints and stuff in my Google Drive. Which for those of you that are curious, the Google Drive is here. This is what the Google Drive looks like. Any guests tonight? I did, but they were all children. This is what my Google Drive looks like currently. And gyroscope is right here. There's, design. Oh, I'd have to open Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome, so, but it is in there. There's stuff in here. how gyroscopes work and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff in here, bro. When people say RHE, I don't know what that means, but anyway, hit me up if you want the Google Drive. I'm gonna try to not probably finish, but continue to work on my geocentrism. Of course, this guy wants to do that as soon as I'm wrapping things up. I'm gonna continue to work on the geocentrism thing. Like the next couple days, I probably won't finish it. You need that. I accept donations for it. I don't have like a set price, but if you message me, I can work with you depending on what you wanna. That guy needed a new fan belt. It's a like an Amazon van, but it's yellow, so it's like one of those. It's so much info. Yeah, there's 500 documents in here, 490 something, I think, because I just downloaded them all to my computer. It's like 500 documents. All these like folders have stuff in them. Like there's so much stuff, like MMX. There's a lot of MMX stuff in here. It's not just like memes and stuff. This is like the stuff that I was just reading to you guys. Like it's stuff like that. It's like super advanced level, like very interesting things. How many types of gyroscope are there? At least a few. I mean, there's quite a few. I don't know all of them, like just off the top of my head, but there's at least a few. It's addicting to look through. Might have something intriguing for me. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sitting in my car sweating. I actually like you, and I don't want to just like, diss you, but it's been, I don't know how long I've been live, like an hour. Yeah, it's like 90 degrees outside and I'm sweating, so I'm trying to get out of here, to be honest. And my computer needs to update, even though I updated it earlier. I updated this earlier today and thought it would get all that stuff done, but whatever. No worries. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. And thanks for coming at least. So, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed the presentation. 50 people stayed and listened. I know some of this stuff's like crazy convoluted. I try to get as good of an understanding of it as I can, which I think I don't want to say I'm in over my head, but like I'm definitely learning as I'm trying to put this together as well. So I hope you guys can give me some like some wiggle room there. Obviously this isn't like your run-of-the-mill water always seeks its level flat earth conversation. Geocentrism is an entirely different like conversation. It's way more complex. It's all over my head. It's supposed to be like 100 degrees tomorrow, so I might actually not go live tomorrow. I'm not sure, because after how tonight went, dude, I'm just like sitting here sweating so badly. But anyway, I do it all for you guys, and I'll try to go live tomorrow, if I can. Hydrate on our live. Yeah, I got plenty of water, brother. Thank you. It's over my head too, but well, I'll try to get a better understanding of it and break it down in like simplicity. Like the hardest part right now is I'm just reading it as it's written, which of course it's written in a very complex way to kind of keep it above your head, if that makes sense. But I know that it can be dumbed down and simplified, so I will do my best to make progress towards that. How does Caleb get mad debates and I don't? Because I'm the most censored flat earther on TikTok, and it's not debatable. I've been saying it for months now. I don't know why. I'm the most censored, but I am. It is what it is. Once you get it down, it makes it harder to argue against. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, though, you're never going to get, I don't want to say never, but you're rarely going to get a chance to talk about stuff like this. Because everybody just wants to ask you why boats disappear and shit. So you're not going to really get a chance to get into, like, you can rarely get into, like, Michelson Morley. You know what I mean? With most of these people. Flat Earth for Dummies, yeah. Well, this would be geocentrism for dummies, but sure. I do have a Flat Earth documentary too, maybe, or not like a documentary, but like a presentation. I could probably just do that one night too. But a lot of you guys have seen most of that one. It's the meat and potatoes. Maybe like on MDD. I mean, maybe.
but I don't know why I opened this because I'm just going to close it immediately. I'm sleepy. Anyway, I love you guys, and we'll try. I don't know if I'll go live again tomorrow. We're going through like a heat wave right now, so it kind of sucks to sit here and sweat the whole time. But I will do my best. I love you guys, and I don't know if I don't go live tomorrow, then I'll go live like the next day or something. So peace, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow.
It turns out everywhere on the geode, you weigh exactly the same. What? If the Earth bulges from spinning, if you bulge at the equator, the poles come in a little bit. Down, right? Okay? So now it sounds like I'm closer to the center of the Earth, I should weigh more. However, not the entire Earth is pulling on you. It turns out that while you are closer to the center of the Earth, there's less mass pulling on you. Only, you can do this, you can show this with calculus and Newton's laws of gravity, that if you are smaller from pole to pole, the only part of Earth attracting you is the sphere.
Is that Philly cheesesteak?
Sorry about the commercial. Right in the middle, huh?
That is the cutaway between your feet and the center of the Earth. And that sphere does not include the bulging that comes outside of that sphere. Okay. Those factors combined exactly equal the factors that affect your weight here on the equator. Because the entire mass of the Earth is pulling on you
because you're at the center.
Okay, because you're at a widest point.
Right.
Now, what is the sphere beneath your feet? It's got everything.
It's all of it.
All of it.
It's all of it. So these two things, these two, principles, if you want to call them, they cancel out.
Yes, they exactly cancel. The fact that you have the whole Earth pulling on you, yet we're spinning,
right?
Okay, so you have all the mass of the Earth, but the spinning, so that makes you weigh more. But then you're spinning, that makes you weigh a little less. Plus, the Earth is a little wider, so that makes you weigh a little less. Okay, all of that.
You put it together.
It comes out in the wash compared to your weight on the pole.
They talk to y'all like y'all were children.
And that's all. I just wanted to play that part. We could play the whole thing, but I think this explains the point. As of right now, the top astronomy podcast in the world is saying that we weigh the same everywhere on Earth, and it completely cancels it out.
Yeah,
right?
I have a response for that, Gene.
Sure, but it still assumes it's vertical Earth.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong on that.
Oh, okay.
Because we are measurably heavier at the poles than we are.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you went out there and actually proved it.
No, other people have, though.
I just don't know how you say that with such confidence, bro, to say he is
and
wrong.
like all you have to do is
when you haven't done the experiment to even know the difference. You're just like kind of picking a side with the argument and saying no, he's wrong. Like how would you counter his argument?
Looked into it,
but
Gene.
respectfully, my bro.
Say, no, he's
respectfully,
wrong.
my bro. Really quick.
Are we
how
only
would you
going to
counter
trust the
How would you
experience
counter
that
the
we
argument
perform
if you didn't
ourselves?
watch the entire video of what even
I
Neil
did watch
deGrasse
the
Tyson
entire
said?
video.
I only played like a minute and a half.
I watched the entire video, Gene.
Oh, okay.
Have you been to both poles?
And he's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sound believable, actually. You know what?
Yeah, no,
Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong. The number one astronomy podcaster, astrophysicist in the world, and cousin Ray from TikTok is correct.
Ray's only shown one bit of evidence.
It uses the model of spherical Earth to disprove whatever I said about
actually proves it
spherical Earth.
wrong.
So it's
I
kind of,
I wish you guys knew how
the
to stay
model
on
is
topic.
a bit more nuanced than we presented it because there's
for me to bring up the fact that he said that we weigh the same everywhere on Earth, and your rebuttal to be, and your rebuttal, and your rebuttal to be, but what does he think the shape of the Earth is? Like, I don't even know what you guys logically are thinking.
Gene.
That was like what Ruck just said.
No, that was not cousin whatever his name is rebuttal.
That was you, right?
Yeah. I said,
silly.
yeah.
It's not even logical.
It is very logical.
But that reply is not logical.
To say that my
you're
tiny...
being illogical. Can I explain why you're being illogical, or are you just going to stomp your feet and just say I'm not being illogical? Right? So respectfully, I'm saying I'm using him as a hostile witness, right? Regardless to what he believes the shape of the Earth is. That's neither here nor there. actually, right? So what I'm simply saying, specifically, I'm talking about the claim specifically that we weigh differently at different parts of the earth. I don't care what shape of the earth is, right? Now check this out. Check this out, though. Even in contention, respectfully, with Katie, right? Katie says that we weigh differently on Earth due to the geomagnetic field, right? Now, that would be a contradiction. That would be a contradiction to what even Neil deGrasse Tyson said. But she could be right, and you guys could be right? But as of right now, I'm just using him as a hostile witness, just to be honest. The number one astronomer / most popular podcast in the world, right? He's saying that we weigh the same everywhere. So you're going against consensus at the moment of time. That's all I'm saying.
So the weight of your argument is, oh, I know someone who says that you're wrong. That's basically what the hostile witness argument comes.
I didn't say that at all. No.
Yes, it does.
The weight of your argument, Ruck, is literally somebody else told me it was a ball. What do you mean, bro?
No, I'm saying I say that we see sunset in a very specific way, in the exact same way if you go west at the same latitude that you cannot explain with the flat Earth model of a sun that diminishes the light intensity based on the inverse square law. Because that would imply that the sun has to fly away.
Which inverse square law are you talking about? Are you talking about the one that they...
Let's not switch subjects. You're switching to the sun. We were talking about gravity.
Well, Katie said that was why I believe that, and that's not the case. So I corrected that.
Exclusivity to a ball. Exclusivity to being on a ball would be visible curvature at some point, right? And the only thing that any of us can the only thing that any of us can do ourselves to replicate, like the highest I think was that 89-mile high amateur rocket launch, and it shows flat as fuck.
How do you see the curvature of anything that is
curved? That's the only thing that would be exclusive to a ball. Everything else that you guys bring up, we entertain, sure, but none of it's exclusivity. None.
If you're playing paper, rock, scissors, and two people both give scissors, right? Now you got to science it. You can't just say, hey, I won. Hey, no, you won. No, somebody else did it. No, somebody else did it on my side too. Now you got to science it. Well, looks like we better do the push-ups and figure out who can do the most now. Paper, rock, scissors didn't work, right? The next thing would be sciencing it. Right. So this is what I'm saying. I'm being honest. Right. Do we weigh the same or don't we? We're in a full blown pickle. I have two globers that say we don't weigh the same and a flat earther that says that we don't weigh the same. But we have Neil deGrasse Tyson, which I'm sorry, you guys, you don't get the option. Wrong. He is an authority of the astronomical model, the heliocentric model. He is an authority of that. So all I'm simply saying is you guys can't just stomp your feet because we were once told the same thing, that we weighed differently. We believe that, right? Yeah. Now there's I think what's happening in science is there are arguments happening about it. Yeah, truly, I think if that's the case, then that's where you should take a step back with your ego and stop defending something that you've never scienced.
Right. Okay, the solution is just looking up.
And another thing too is science itself is not absolute. You can't say it's what this is and that's only what it is.
Yeah.
More than
one model. Only a fool believes that something is
there's only one way.
An absolute.
Yeah, I'm not claiming it is.
No, you are, because you have no exclusivity.
Stop putting words in my mouth, Katie.
Sorry.
No,
I said stop putting words in my mouth. You can talk, just don't put words in my mouth. I never said it's absolute. I never said.
Well, when you say that we're wrong, you're saying that your model is the only model that's correct, which is
when did I say you are wrong? When did I say that?
Thank you. Yes, exactly what I was going to say. You are saying that when you say not to anything, any explanation, scientific, fact, sources, plausibility, and you say can't happen on a flat Earth, but more than one model can absolutely be used to explain the same phenomenon, and that is lost on y'all.
Sure, but not if the two models contradict each other on their phenomenological observations.
Well, here's the thing, the one thing they don't contradict each other on, right, is that observably, objectively, it's a stationary topographical plane.
Okay, that's just pontificating. Like, that doesn't add anything.
It's not pontificating, it's observable, objective reality. It is the only thing any of us ever will experience and or observe. It's the only thing anybody will.
Then how do you explain a sunset? Again, you can't, because the sun should be moving away 10 times further in 30 minutes, which would imply acceleration, which it doesn't.
If you go by
I'm sorry, Katie. If you go by the heliocentric model itself and only keep that in your mind and you hyper focus that, that's all you're going to see.
No,
you're not going to look at anything else objectively. The Earth is
flat. I said, let's assume the Earth is flat. Let's try to explain a sunset.
Well, see, that's the problem that you have. You seem to think that when we say flat Earth, we're talking about the shape of Earth. We're talking about the topographical mapping surface, the thing that everything works in.
Okay. Then still,
and we're not talking about the geological terrain.
Is it planar
or not?
Ground
beneath our feet.
Is it planar or not?
When you confuse the Earth territory and the geological terrain, then you're not going to understand the mapping surface itself.
Okay, so according
to the mapping surface, that's where all your telecommunications work. That's where all your flight
we're digressing
works.
Here.
You're there's no digressing. It's people not paying attention, not wanting to learn nothing because you're hyper focused on what you were taught to believe.
Okay, azimuth, according to your paradigm, is it a topographical?
I don't have a paradigm. Don't put words in my mouth.
Fine. According to how you view what the Earth looks like, is it a topographical
I don't know what the Earth
plane
looks
or not?
like. That's putting more words in my mouth.
Okay, so you're not making any claims at all. Why the fuck are you here then?
I don't make claims on what I have never
then let's not discuss anything.
We don't make
why are you in this conversation?
We don't make bull. Hold on, because Ray, unlike y'all, we don't make bullshit claims.
Yeah, because you can't defend them.
Can
That's
I finish?
Why.
Because that we can't verify. And you know what my dad would always tell me? Hold on, no, the glow model has an answer for everything. My dad always tell me.
Goddamn right we do.
Let me finish. My dad would always tell me growing up that anybody who thinks they know everything or has an answer for everything is full of SHIPT.
Yeah, I know. I don't claim to know everything, but I know enough that the Earth isn't fucking flat.
Did you go out and test it? That's the
yes.
The
I've looked at a sunset. I've looked at a sunset. My God, it cannot be flat.
Okay,
if the sunset proves it, then Einstein was wrong, guys.
Understanding.
Oh God!
If
don't
you
go
get
there,
on an
Gene.
airplane,
it's the truth,
and
don't
fly.
Go there,
all right,
then you're not going to understand it.
Look at the sun tonight. This was the sun tonight. Clouds acting as a solar filter. Look at that bad fucking boy. Yeah.
Hey, Kitty, can
I don't understand.
I just don't know why you guys make exceptions to science.
You seem to think that you can plant your feet on the ground, look up, and automatically say, "Oh, because it geometrically looks round."
Yeah. And everybody thought the sun went underneath the flat Earth.
Then it must be round on the bottom.
Yeah, back when everybody thought the Earth was flat, they thought the sun went underneath the flat Earth.
No, they didn't.
There's a
yes, they did.
Okay,
so yes, they did.
All right, so
with that
logic, right? With that logic, if you put a phone down on a running track from the bottom up, I'm not done.
Running tracks aren't flat.
Now, hold on. Now, when they run back to you, they're coming back.
They're crowned
from
drainage.
top down.
Oh, now, this is optics.
This is the same exact thing that we see all over the place. You just don't pay attention to it. So just because it's up into the sky, it doesn't make any difference. It works no matter what. Does the ground curve making these people disappear?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Yes, it
not
does.
At 89 miles in altitude. Not at 10 miles in altitude, not at 15, not at over 460,000 feet in altitude. And the reason, azimuth, that they always go to the sky is because they don't have ground to stand on. If they went to the actual ground, which is the whole context premise of this discussion, they would have nothing. They don't have anything.
Well, that's why I brought up putting a phone down on a running track and film people going back and forth. Now that track is going to be 100 meters at least. If people are disappearing
400 meters
and reappearing, well, however, I haven't been to a track in a long time. What my whole point is that people's disappearing and reappearing and it's level, then that completely breaks your whole ideology.
You're begging the question
because you look
level.
up at the sky, it's still doing the same thing.
You're begging the question that it's
appearing
level,
and disappearing.
You're begging the question that it's level.
We've seen this replicated, and it is level. And when we will see distortion, not exactly an obstruction from like a physical object that would cut something off. We see it shimmer, right?
Then why
And
does the
sometimes
sun do this?
sometimes we even see a reflection, even for that matter, right? Where I've seen video of a biker, right? And he had like a red helmet on, right? And then as he moved away further, the bottom of the bike gets cut off, and then you see two red blobs. One, his actual helmet, and then the other one is the reflection off of the cement that he's driving or biking on, right? And that distortion is called an inferior mirage, right? And that's when there's a reflection below the actual object. Now, of course, if there were a reflection there,
It's
right?
not necessarily a reflection.
That's from
Is
a
this an
heat
inferior
inversion.
mirage,
And
Gene?
what that does is that causes obstruction to the bottom of the tires.
Hey,
right?
Gene,
That's
is
not
this an
going
inferior
over
mirage?
curvature. That would be an example, yes, of an inferior.
Really? Where's the distortion?
This what you
I don't
have
see
on
any
screen
distortion,
here.
Gene.
This what you have on screen here is a picture that I would pull up for the example of atmospheric lensing.
Yeah,
Hey,
where's the distortion?
Ray, go back to the previous photo real quick. I got a question for you, just real
What
quick.
previous
Sorry,
photo?
I got to
I'm
do
checking you about pulling something
Yeah.
up that's wrong, right?
Oh,
So
hey,
I was correcting
where,
you.
where side of sun? Where side of sun? Ray.
What? Where's what?
That's a good one, Katie. Where's side of sun go?
Where side of sun? Oh no! Oh
Where side
no!
of
It
sun
must be
go?
the ground obstructing it, right?
Yes, very obviously.
My fucking god! You're okay. Did y'all just hear that?
Yes, there's a mirage.
Wow.
There's a mirage,
the ground
and the
is
sun is sinking.
obstructing
That's
the side
that's a Occam's razor way to explain this.
The ground is obstructing the sides of the sun.
Why would the sun's diameter still be so wide when it's moving away so far? Like that, this shape is not at all.
I don't
congruent
think
with
you
the sun
understand
that's
what
just
I'm
moving
saying.
away.
Diffraction.
You don't understand what
But
I'm
why
saying.
is the top curved and the bottom flattened
The
out?
reason
Plus a
it's-
mirage.
the reason you
distortion.
don't see the full length or width of the sun is because of atmospheric conditions. That's the answer.
But why the top?
So where bottom sun?
Look at both of the sides of the images, my bro. Look at the sun, of course, right? We're
If
looking
the
at
sun
now.
is
Now, hold on, my bud. Let me
circular.
get to the end of my sentence. Now look at the image right next to it on the right-hand side, right? Do you see that little dot that's to the right of that truck? That's a car, right? It's not floating in air. So that light blue that you see before it becomes road again, all of that is actually reflection. It's a reflection of the sky above it. Right? And so that gives us the optical illusion that whatever that object is, it's floating in the sky, but really it's not. It's on the ground, right? So that's, again, an optical illusion. Now, what we're looking at here on the left-hand side, allow me to get to my end, my bud. I know you get excited, but hold on. Now, if you're looking at the sun here, right, there's actually the actual horizon, believe it or not, isn't that physical line where the sun meets the water. It's actually slightly above that. So the bottom of that sun that you see is a reflection, right? About where it curves. If you look around the sides to the right, where it starts to curve up, right, where it meets its apex, right, of its curve, like that right where it meets that apex, that bottom part is actually a reflection. You can see it more in the third diagram in the bottom, right? You can see it more in the third diagram in the bottom, right? See where that apex is on the left-hand side? Right? Cut it all the way across and you can see the dark little spot on the opposite end, right? Cut a line in between those two pieces like a lemon, right? And that bottom side is a reflection. That's actually an inferior mirage that you're looking at.
So how come we don't see that every sunset?
No, that'd be a stupid thing to say because every sunset looks different.
Okay, Gene, what would you say the shape of the top of the cars that are obstructed by the mirage, but whose top you can still see?
Wait, I never said what you just said. You're confusing me because I never said that. I mean, never made a
next
claim
to the truck, you can still see the little dot that you mentioned, right? But it's barely visible because of the mirage distortion, right?
It's you can't really make it out because it is distorted in the distance.
Yeah, but the top of the car still looks like a top of a car.
I mean, I suppose.
Real quick,
so why does the top of the sun look like
the top of the sun? Like the top of the sun, you're saying?
No, the top of the sun would look like a smaller sphere, right? Like that it would be sloping
Not
down more.
necessarily. I'm missing what you're saying. And
No,
honestly,
because
Rook,
it's
I
further away.
think you should actually invest in the time to actually take the information instead of debating with us. Because I have a video playlist that actually has multiple different people that break this down to make sense. Like, I don't understand, respectfully, how you guys get on these lives and argue for so much. And there's resources for these questions, right? FlatEarthAnswers.com. It's a pretty simple website, FlatEarthAnswers.com. And it'll tackle sunsets. You can hit the sunset tab. You can hit the sunset tab and at least bare minimum, right? At least bare minimum. If you went to that tab and watched a few videos, you would at least be able to come back to this live and steel man our argument instead of us spending the time explaining it to you, right? That's all. Right. It's for me, I find it's dumbfounding because when I started having this argument, I wanted to know the most. Right. So I really wanted to understand what these crazy flat earthers were thinking and what's their position. So I tried to understand their argument. Right. I didn't try to just argue it. I tried to understand it. Well, what do you mean? Right. Well, here's a video. Watch this. OK, I'll watch this crazy Christian video. Right. These religious crazy people. Let me see what the sunset. Oh, well, shit. Now I'm understanding I'm a smarter human than I was 3.5 years ago, right? That if I argue the sun, right? And this is if I were a glober, I'm telling you guys this is my glober gene talking. If I argue the sun, I'm directly saying Einstein was wrong about relative motion. He was making the argument moot.
Gene.
He was making the argument
Gene.
moot.
He
to
wasn't
lose
talking
the
about
sky.
a flat earth.
Well, I didn't invoke that.
I know.
You guys think
because you
guys think.
I'm curious what his
Ray
point
Ray's getting
is.
upset.
Gene,
I'm
can you
gonna land my
explain?
plane here. I'm gonna land my plane here. Ray is getting upset because he thinks that the sky proves the shape of the earth. So now he's defending his illogic. I'm not that stupid to think such a thing. I don't look to the sky and say, I must be on a cucumber earth.
No, it doesn't prove it's
that's
a globe, but it
illogical.
falsifies
That's
that it's
illogical.
flat.
That's illogical. That's illogical, right?
That's not illogical.
It doesn't prove it's a globe, but it does
I'm trying to
falsify
wrap
that
this
it's
up. The more
flat.
you guys interrupt me, the longer I'm talking, just to be clear, right? So let me wrap this up. Just shut up for a second. And so the exclusivity of the shape of the earth resides 100% in the shape of the earth, right? If you look up, that's called astronomy. You just changed the entire science of what we're discussing, actually. And now you're forcing me to have to subscribe to the geodesics and the geodesy of your illogic. That's why I'm saying, yo, you telling me that doesn't work on a flat earth, the sky doesn't work on a flat earth. Well, those are two different things. You're correlating them too. No. The exclusivity of the shape of the earth resides in the shape of the earth. Nothing that's going on above my head tells me
Gene,
how much.
that is wrong. That is not correct.
Gene,
We can
You guys
understanding
are
how
illogical.
optics work.
I can't debate
Understanding
with you
how
'cause you're
optics
illogical.
work.
I
Understanding
can't
how
do it,
optics
dude.
work. You can observe a couple of things
That's like
standing on
saying
this
if I
earth
kick something
and
and I
conclude
hurt my
something
foot, I
about
should
the
go see a
shape
head
of the
doctor.
earth. With
You're
saying that you
revealing
cannot
illogical.
is just flat out wrong.
I have a headache. I better go see a foot doctor. Is what you're telling me?
No,
You're
Gene,
illogical.
Gene,
what
we
I'm telling
look
you.
to the sky to tell us where we
Astronomy
are
is
on
the
the earth.
sky, right?
We
Now,
look
what
to
is-
the
now,
sky
how
to
about
tell
this,
us where
guys?
we
How about
are on
this?
the
Let's say
earth,
this
Gene.
for example. What if the stars were scrambled like snowflakes driving down the road on a December day? Now
Then
what?
what?
How
Gene,
would
then
you
what?
prove? How would you prove we live on a sphere?
Gene, we can
How
look to
is
the
that
sky.
relevant?
Hold on.
How would you do it?
Wrong,
Okay,
Gene,
Gene,
not-
stumps.
completely irrelevant.
Hold on,
No,
Gene.
it's not.
Gene,
It's
we
the
can look.
exclusivity of the claim.
Gene, we can look to the sky to tell us where we are.
So
on
let's
the
use
earth. Wouldn't it
stationary
be important
stars.
to know the shape
That makes
of it?
sense. Let's
But
use
hey, that
stationary
line-
stars to prove that we're
Katie.
moving.
Katie,
That
can I say
lines
something?
We can look to the sky to show us where we
Well,
are on
that
the
lines
earth.
up.
I think
Stationary
it's
stars to do it.
important
That
to
makes a
shape
lot of
it to
sense.
do that, right?
Not everybody subscribes to it. If we're inside of a toroidal field, and again, you can determine your latitude based off of magnetic dip. That is a fact. Look that up, Ray
No, you
Ray.
can't.
And yes,
Katie,
you
can
can.
I say something?
Yes,
No,
you
you
can.
can't. No, you
Oh yeah,
can't.
go ahead, Potion. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, just real quick. I think it's funny that Gene is saying looking at the sky doesn't prove the ground when he has literally argued to me that the fact that he thinks the stars don't move and things like the astrolabe and the Antikythera mechanism all prove flat Earth.
Well, actually, this is what I'm doing, to be honest with you, right? Don't make my argument my argument. I'll tell you what my argument is. I'm actually taking Glober logic, right? My hostile witness is Albert Einstein, right? As a Glober mentality, right? This is me putting my Glober dunce hat on for a minute, right? I understood I can't argue the sky. Why? Because Einstein said it's relative from our inertial reference frame. He said there's no optical experiment that can be done to prove the sun is going around the earth or the earth is going around the sun, right? So hold on. I'm still talking. So my claim is, if we are here from Earth, right, from a global specific perspective, right, the moment you try to bear exclusivity on the sky, what you are saying is Einstein was wrong, right? There is an optical experiment, because all we can do is look at the sky. Right. So you're saying there is an optical experiment that proves that Earth goes around the sun. Right. That's what you're trying to say to me. And I'm trying to say, no, silly Glober. I was a Glober once too. And I have to stand on my principles as a Glober. I understood that argument. So when I was a Glober, I had to step away from that argument. Why? Because I started to understand. Hold on. Because I started to understand I sounded stupid to educated Globers that knew that was a moot argument. Okay, that's why I stepped away from it. And then I said, I need to find the exclusivity of this argument. And I found it in this. I found it in this. Large bodies of water should curve 8 inches per mile squared. If they do not, we have a problem. I
have evidence of that.
You have evidence that they do prove 8 inches per mile squared?
I have evidence of curving water, yeah.
Okay. Do you have evidence that it proves 8 inches per mile squared, or are you just calling out obstruction?
Yeah. No, I have evidence that it curves the amount that it should according to the diameter of the Earth.
Okay. Now, when I show you something that opposes it, how do we figure out which one is the truth and which one is wrong?
Because I guarantee the one that I'm going to refer you to is highly controlled, whereas atmospheric conditions over bodies of water are not going to be.
How would you guarantee such a thing? What stamp of approval would you get?
Potion, real quick, you misspoke, right? You said based on like what diameter of Earth or something like that. Actually, the curvature is based off of observer height, almost as if it's perspective.
It's based off of the radius of the Earth, Katie.
It changes based on observer height. Absolutely does.
Curvature is 1 over radius for a circle.
Where the curvature, where it starts, right? Obstruction is contingent upon observer height. Period.
Correct. Yes,
that is
my
not
bro.
what curvature is.
Ruck, we understand, Ruck. It's based on the radius value. And what Katie's saying, take the radius value and then add the observer height. And then that will tell us how far the horizon should be geometrically. That's what she's saying. Okay, let's move on.
That's a completely different thing than saying what the
Let's not argue semantics, my bud. Okay,
yes,
you're being
semantics
silly.
Are
Just read between the lines. You know what it shows? It shows you're intelligent if you could read between the lines and not make little silly arguments like this. Truly, did you know that? It shows your lack of intelligence because you could hear what she's saying, but to stop the conversation, to try to say, well, that's not actually curvature.
No, that's pleading for accuracy.
Like we actually know that the radius value is what determines the curvature, right? Now, based on that curvature, the observer height, and this is what Katie was saying, right, is that's going to determine how far the horizon should be. Right? That'll determine how far the horizon should be. Right?
Yes.
And so let's move forward. Let's move forward and not make it a silly conversation anymore, my bud. You're being silly to stop to highlight that, right? She said the curvature to the horizon, right? I understood what she meant.
Use of words.
I understood what she meant, and what I'm telling to you is you don't sound smart stopping the conversation that you couldn't read between the lines.
You saying I don't sound smart is not going to make me sound
we should be on the next subject by now.
When we go to measure,
but you're being silly.
Ruck, when we go to measure curvature, okay, since you didn't understand, right, the observation, because you have to have an observer to make a measurement, it's contingent upon observer height. Is that better for you?
That's better, yes.
Just a silly thing to stop the conversation for. Like,
okay, do you guys want the evidence now?
Like, and as we have it on screen, I'll just take a moment to describe this since John put it up. Thank you, John, briefly. And if you guys have not watched this documentary, you can't nut on me about this. Okay.
Superior Mirage.
Respectfully ask me for the link and watch it. Otherwise you can't tell me Superior Mirage. You can't tell me a thing. You can just sit and watch, right? You can't. I would do the same to you, right? Until you show it to me, then we can talk, right? But until then, let's address this one. So this is from the Rampion. I don't know why you're interrupting me still, my bud. So again, this is from the Rampion Wind Farm. This is taken from a 3.5 foot observer height, right? We have the measurements that are on the side of the screen here. That first wind
CGI.
turbine.
CGI, it's fake.
First wind turbine on the left-hand side is 8.4 miles away. You can look this up yourself. How close is the closest wind turbine? How close is the closest wind turbine to the Rampion Wind Farm coastline? And you'll see that it's actually 8 miles, the closest, right?
Further.
So he was honest, and he shares his coordinates where he took this video. He actually then takes the calculation for the first wind turbine and the rest of them, of course, right? Now, the problem is from a 3.5 foot observer height, what the argument is the size of the radius value, right? So now we're going to turn and look at this and say, does this match the radius value we were given? Now, unfortunately, we can see the base of the first wind turbine, which does not match the radius of the globe model. That first wind turbine should be covered up by 24 feet ish of ocean from a 3.5 foot observer height. Now that last wind turbine, which we can see the base of, right, should be covered up by 50 some feet of ocean, right? Now the problem with this observation here, we have 6 turbines. In order for us to have this double hat trick, right, we have to have refractive index variables that are perfect for 6 different wind turbines. They couldn't be the same. You couldn't have the same refractive index for wind turbines that were 8, 9, 10, and 11 miles away. That'd be physically impossible, right? So here's a full-blown, well, my bud, that's not a dynamic of the atmosphere, right? It's a dynamic system that's moving wickedly and rapidly. It's moving wickedly and rapidly at all times, right? This is not an effect that you're looking at that's magically making something that is obstructed
but you brought up mirages yourself before,
right? So to be clear, we don't see things that are obstructed. I'll slow that down for you if you need me to say it again. One more time. Listen to this closely. We don't see things that are obstructed, right? And so the argument, I think you're a little backwards. You're thinking that a mirage can make something appear. I'm saying it causes obstruction, right? We're on two different sides of this perspective. I don't know why you're talking so much when I'm in the middle of trying to explain something. I'm the one trying to explain, but Mr. Know-It-All. Well, Mr. Know-It-All, do you mind trying not to censor me for a second?
Mirages work in 2 ways.
Like what you're doing, okay, I'm in the middle of speaking though. Like regardless to however excited you feel at this moment of time, right? I know you're an only child. I'm sure at the dinner table you interrupted your parents all the time. They let you talk, right? But no, I'm in the middle of speaking right now. That's why you have no decorum. It's weird. You're like a savage animal, like a savage privileged animal. I know you're an only child. Right, you've confirmed that with me, and I called it out.
Right.
The way you act, bro. I'm in the middle of speaking, and I'm being cordial. I'm not even directly addressing you, and you're so excited that you just can't help yourself. Right? It's weird. It's really, really weird. I just don't know why you would spend the time to join TikTok to act like this with anyone. To be honest, it's
when you
weird.
Speak, you take like 10 minutes.
I take longer every time I get interrupted. It's really like hitting a reset button. Because I lose my train of thought, and then I have to like kind of recenter again. And by the time I recenter again, that's an extra 30 seconds. Right? I got another 30 seconds that you just added on just for interrupting. Because now I got to think about it again, right? So please, I'm asking, right, that you just not interrupt. That's all, right? As I get through what I'm trying to say, right? I will do you the same honor and the same respect. But if you're doing this to me, right, and then when you go to talk, I'm just going to do it to you, right? And that's just like it's just like, all right. So, are you ready? Can you relax yet?
Mute.
Thank you. And so, in this observation that we have here, we can see the obviously the 6 wind turbines. The huge problem with this, the guy that did this observation set out to observe these wind turbines. Well, he accidentally captured a cargo ship. Right? He takes the numbers on the side of the cargo ship. Obviously, he has his coordinates. He has his time frame. He goes back home. He goes to some type of boattracker.com to find out that the shipping lane, right, is 20.8 miles away. And we can see the base of the ship at 20.8 miles away. Now, he's made this observation. It's been very well documented. There's an 1 hour and 15 long documentary that goes through all the numbers and the figures and the weather and everything that you might want to ask and know. And this is where I tell people respectfully, watch this video, right? And then come talk to me about it. If you don't watch this video, I really can't entertain the discussion with you, right? You're just going to deny it, watch it, have integrity, and then come back with some talking points about it. And I assure you, you're going to be a little bit more open-minded about this discussion.
I watched the video.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Gene.
I watched the video.
So I'm just not impressed with, seeing too far over water with all the different aspects that can go into it. Refraction. I saw that video and I noticed that the guy, when he zooms out, it's a sandy beach from the Google Earth images, but it's rocks when he zooms out. It looks like an extremely low tide. Also, those turbine bases are huge.
It is a low tide. You're correct. What's wrong with that?
I'm extremely not impressed with your significant lack of curvature for as high as we can go. That's what I'm not impressed with.
And my butt, here's
I just
have to address something that you said. I'm not impressed that we can see things over water, right? Really, really far. Like that is our argument. We can see things over really, really far. You're not impressed with it. Well, that's confusing to me, right? And now you're saying, well, hold on. I'm in the middle of speaking. You shouldn't be interrupting me right now. 1 second. And so now the claim becomes when we look at things over water, there's always atmospheric conditions that cause an effect that could disturb what we see and confuse us. Now, what you just did is you just took a governor off of every single long distance observation, every single made. You now just said every single theodolite operator can't pinpoint the horizon. He'll never be able to do it because of atmospheric conditions. That's what you just said. Now, what I'm telling you is you're wrong. We can go out to the water on any given day, particularly clear and clean, perfect days, and we can see well beyond the globe geometry multiple days out of the week. Now, I'm telling you for a fact, we topple over the 51% we see beyond the globe horizon, which puts us in the category that empirically there is no 8 inch per mile squared curve, observably.
Real science assumes that what you observe, if it's according to the proper model, if your model is accurate, that it is repeatable. And the problem with this thing is it's cherry picked on a day where the refraction is in such a way that there's a superior mirage where you can indeed see things beyond the horizon.
Okay.
If
and
you
this
keep
is
referring to that image, wait a minute, Gene, I thought people were supposed to be single childs if they interpret people. Are you a single child?
Hold on, are you switching the subject, or after I said go ahead 3 times? Go ahead.
So I can't change the subject about your
hold on. Go
siblingship,
I'm so
you
confused.
can
Go ahead.
if you interrupt me.
Hold on,
is that how it works?
Go ahead.
This is severe narcissistic personality disorder.
Go ahead. 8th time. Go ahead. 9th time.
Yes. So to me, it seems cherry picked unless you can provide multiple unrelated days of the various atmospheric circumstances to show that this effect is repeatable. And so I agree with the Potion Castle that you need controlled circumstances because yes, I agree. In the same sense that you use atmospheric effects to try and deny the sunset, even though the arguments are much less.
Let's not switch the subject.
It's drawing an analogy.
Okay.
So I agree that if you're doing that, then we can invoke the same argument as well, even though our mechanisms are way, way, way better.
Awesome.
I'm not impressed by these observations.
Well, I appreciate your approach. I appreciate your approach, Ruck. I appreciate your approach, Ruck.
Impressed by that.
Okay, I appreciate your approach, Ruck. And you're right. It should be repeatable and not cherry picked. And because you said that, I want to say, graciously, good sir, you really need to check out his website now because he has multiple observations on multiple different days. He lives not too far from the Rampion Wind Farm. So he actually has several hours of footage. So this is a prime example of something being repeatable, duplicatable, and demonstratable. This is now a sought after spot that people are now traveling to try to verify the shape of the earth. So thank you, good sir. Thank you for bringing it to the attention of it being repeatable and duplicatable, but you now can confirm that on your own. It is repeatable.
I think it's worth looking into then.
He repeated it multiple times.
Gene, how is this different than Enoch's observations across Lake Tahoe, where you can see an entire building that should be obstructed, and then 8 inches per mile squared goes out there, does the same observation, and it is obstructed?
So I have a great answer. If you don't interrupt me, I'd love to share. Are you ready?
You did after I asked my question.
Okay. Respect. Let's do that. You don't need to be a smart ass. I'm just saying, I don't want to be interrupted if I'm about to reply, right? Your instrument, right? They coordinate
Their theodolite, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to actually use two different system observations. So if you're going out and you're making a theodolite observation with one theodolite, you're really not doing it accurately, to be honest, right? But that's neither here nor there. So when they make their observations, right, they align it with the horizon. They add a coefficient. That coefficient shares the same exact radius value of the hypothesized model of the Earth. It shares a radius value of 3,958.8. That coefficient. Guess what the name of that coefficient is called? It's called standard refraction, right? You don't think refraction's real? No, I know refraction's real, right? I know refraction is Snell's law when EMF passes between two different isotropic mediums that have two different refractive indices. If they have a similar refractive indice, it doesn't refract, right? And so here's a full-blown problem, right? Now, if theodolite operators did not add standard refraction, by their profession, they would all be globe whistleblowers. So what they do, that's coefficient, it might as well be rose-colored glasses. So I don't blame Barron. Barron's a genius with math. I love watching him do his math. I don't blame Mike Snow, right? They're doing what they've been trained to do, but they've been trained to do it properly. They follow it to the nines, right? They put on the rose-colored glasses called standard refraction, and it doesn't matter what observation they make, if it's in Hawaii or Arizona or the Congo or the Sahara, right? Summer, winter, fall. If they do a 10-mile observation, they're going to get the exact drop of the globe model. Why? Because the radius value matches exactly the globe. If we said that the globe had a 5,000 mile radius and we added standard refraction, the coefficient, assuming a 5,000 mile radius, guess what would happen with every single observation that we make? It would match a 5,000 mile radius, right? It's just a way in cracking a beer and taking a shower because they got paid on Friday. That's it.
So thank you. I'm not talking about any of the mathematics that they're doing. I'm talking about the observation.
I am.
Where they
I'm
looked at
explaining it to you.
Hold on. They looked at the Calneva building, the same one Enoch looked at from 20 miles across Lake Tahoe.
Yep.
Their observation, the bottom was obscured, Enoch's wasn't. And the difference has to be atmospheric conditions.
And they had atmospheric conditions that day, clearly. If Enoch's was not, right, it's a hope and a dream to say, we can see something that is actually being obstructed at this moment in time. It's the opposite thing, guys. When we don't see the bottom, right, that's from atmospheric conditions. That's what Katie was just saying a second ago, right? This is where we have the inferior mirages. This is like where the surface is reflective. We're looking at water and the angle of light that we're seeing the sun either coming from behind us, right? We're looking westward and the sun's rising in the east in the morning or something to that nature, right? It depends on the angle, but that's going to cause heavy obstruction. Then there's these two other effects, right? One, angular resolution is a thing, right? So based on the angle of what we're looking at something, the smaller the angle, the less we are able to resolve, right? And then there's another effect called atmospheric lensing. The sky, because it is a medium, doesn't even matter if you're in water, right? Or in air. The further you look at something, the more it becomes magnified. So if I'm looking at a building that's 60 miles away, the atmosphere is magnifying it 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, all the way up to 60 miles. It's being magnified. So that's making the bottom look obstructed, just like I would look at a magnifying glass and try to read the newspaper. I can't read every single word at once, right? I can't see every story at once anymore. I just expanded the entire building. So, the argument, and I'll end it with this, right? The argument to the glober that's not really looking into the argument, they usually say, why can't I see the bottom, right? And they usually say it during situations when we shouldn't even see the top. You know what I mean? And I'm in a position where I'm like, hey, we see the bottoms of the buildings, guys. It isn't even about an argument of obstruction any longer. We see the bottoms. There is no obstruction. We can't have an effect that lifts boats out from to be seen, right, behind a curve, and then all of a sudden we see it, and then we're saying, oh, it's atmospheric conditions. We're still on a globe, but we're still also measuring with theodolites accurately. That's a full-blown contradiction. So I've asked Mike Snow, right, how would I take an observation of a boat that's 20 miles away from a 3.5 foot observer height if the boat is 10 feet tall? He said, you set up your theodolite, you'd aim it at the boat, you take an elevation angle, then you'd add standard refraction. I said, okay, that's cool, Mike. But the whole problem I have is that boat should be 200 feet below the horizon. So how would you take an elevation angle on a Mirage, Mike? How do I take an elevation angle on a Mirage, Mike? How would that work for me to take an elevation angle on a Mirage to tell somebody where that boat is? Right? We have a full-blown problem here, right? Of course, I know I can add a refraction and it drops and okay, there we go. We're on a globe again, right? But I shouldn't see that boat, Mike. How do I take an elevation angle on a Mirage? And he wet the bed. I haven't talked to him since.
Well, I mean, sure. I'd love to hear that conversation and hear his side of it.
You know what he finished by saying? He finished by saying it's CGI. Him and Barron both dismissed and hand waved the observation by saying it's CGI. Why? Because it didn't match. It didn't match what they've seen.
Just a
so are you saying that? Hold on. They're saying that they saw a 10-foot boat 20 miles away.
No, I'm saying in this observation here, right? There's a boat, right, that is 20.8 miles away, but it's a cargo ship, right? And so at that distance from a 3.5 foot observer height, 228 feet of it should be obstructed. But the problem is there's windows on the bottom of the ship, right? And not only can you see the windows on the bottom of the ship, if I'm not mistaken, you can see the reflection of the windows. You wouldn't be able to see the reflection of the windows of the bottom of the boat if that boat were actually 228 feet below the horizon, right? How would you see the reflection?
There's a superior mirage taking place,
but how would you see the
exactly
reflection? How would you see a reflection on the water of the bottom of the boat, that you shouldn't see? How would you see a reflection? We would see that just fine on a flat surface, on a flat Earth. We guys have to agree to that part, right?
Wait.
If the water
why
were
would
a
we
mirror,
not see this
right?
during a superior mirage?
Because the boat, the ship itself, right, should physically be below the horizon. We should never, ever.
No, but the light rays that are pointing upwards can bend into your eyes, even though it is obstructed.
You don't see things that are obstructed. If I have a Corvette behind a 5-foot brick wall, you're never going to see it. There's never going to be an atmospheric condition. There's never going to be an atmospheric condition. There's never going to be an atmospheric condition. There's never be an atmospheric condition that's going to lift that Corvette up and put a hot blonde in a mini skirt.
Well, not at 15 feet, but over a couple of miles and with varying.
No, my bud, that's not a thing.
With varying refraction
that's not a thing.
Yes,
you will never see. No, who told you that?
Look up an image of.
I'm so sorry, respectfully, bro. Who told
you
that
works, and you'll understand.
A superior mirage is when there's a heat inversion on the water, right? And you might have a heat inversion over that body that you're inverted.
Not inverted.
Yes, it is. It is.
No, not inverted.
Yes, it is. A superior is when there's a reflection.
Is very
and here, mirrored image. That's what it means. So whenever you see a mirage, an inferior mirage is when you're going to have a reflection from below the actual image. A superior mirage is when you're going to have a reflection. A superior mirage is when you have a reflection above the image that you're looking at.
It's an inversion. It's not a reflection. And reflection requires the surface to reflect off of.
All of them are reflections. They're all
inversions, not reflections.
Every single mirage is a mirrored
image.
So how do you explain the floating boats
every single mirage? How do I explain that?
Inverted.
Yeah, that's an easy one. That's an easy one. So what's happening with when you see the boat above that's quote unquote floating above the horizon?
Yeah, that is not inverted.
Hold on.
That is not inverted.
Why are you talking, bro? You asked a question and you're doing it all the time.
Important. It's
like
you're
you're a little maggot. It's really weird.
Is that
like
inverted?
I'm in the middle of talking, my bro. Shut up. I'm talking. I'm going to reply to you, but you're like, bro, your nuts haven't dropped yet. And you're like excited little feminine. Like you haven't even hit puberty yet. Relax. It's fucking weird.
That's not necessary.
It's just dumb. Like, shut up. It's just like, it's so weird. Like, bro, let me talk. I'm talking, bro. Shut up, bro. Shut up.
We're back.
It's on screen. Bottom image. On screen. Bottom image. Right. We can look at the ship here, right? Now, of course, based on what we see, our limited perspective from the distance, we see the sky. The sky is nice, pretty blue. We see that dark water. Dark water is nice and dark, right? Of course, there's a line right in between. Now, the boat that we see, the bottom of that boat, all the way to where it meets that dark line, right? That's water. That's water simply
it's actually a
reflecting.
superior
I'm
mirage.
still talking, just talking, just still talking. I'm gonna get to my sentence, bro. I'm gonna get to the end of my sentence. Like, let me just simply finish. It's just
Maybe
so weird.
do it in less than
Like, I don't
50
care,
minutes.
bro. It's like I'm now gonna take a whole nother 60 seconds that you interrupted me. And if you want to keep doing it, that's fine. I'm going to take more time. I haven't even gotten into this yet. Like you haven't even let me talk for 15 seconds. So it's fine, bro. If you want to have a crash out today, I have nothing to do for the rest of the night. But I would like to just simply finish.
Crash out? Who's the ones who started talking
I'd like to just finish.
nuts?
I'd like to finish. I'm in the middle of explaining. What do you mean? You're interrupting me, not even getting to, I haven't even got to my point yet. Right? All I did was start to explain this and you got upset. Your feelings got hurt. Like, I'm going to try to get through this now for the 8th time that you've interrupted me, that I tried to explain something very simple and plain. Why do I see a boat floating? Well, what's going on here? Well, that's not it. Well, can I explain it? Haven't even got to it. Right? So anyways, on the bottom, right, we see the cargo ship, of course, right? So in between the bottom of that ship to where you see the quote unquote apparent horizon, right? That is all a reflection. That's just simply reflecting the sky above it. It's an optical illusion. They call that a false horizon. It has a term, right? This is a term that it gets used in real aviation, real nautical aviation or navigation, right? A false horizon. That's what this is. It's a reflection, and you see it in the image above, right? That the freaking cruise ship is not floating in the sky, right? That's just an effect. Sometimes this happens because there's wind fronts, right? This effect can happen for multiple different reasons, but per se, right? Let's say there's no wind by the cargo ship, but the waters that are closer, there's a little bit of wind, and maybe the water is more shallow there, right? So it becomes more active. Right? Now you have ripples. You have two different areas that are distances apart from each other. Right? So this effect can happen, and this is not the boat floating. This is not the boat floating from behind the horizon, and we see it, you guys. That's a silly, 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 silly thing to think.
Why is that silly?
Because it's not a physical thing to ever happen. It only happens when you try to defend the globe model. You can demonstrate, like I said the Corvette thing earlier, right? You will never be able to say, hey, Gene, look at this. I'm going to show you refraction, lifting a Corvette from behind a wall. The only time this excuse comes up is when you're trying to defend your globe, which then makes your globe unfalsifiable. There has to be a range, right? So this is all I'm saying, right? This entire
conversation, you can still
hold on, my bud. Hold on, my bud.
I mean, you've been
this is all I'm
talking
saying.
long enough. You answered the question. You just keep talking.
Hold on.
Oh, I have to hold on another more hour and then an hour after that.
Hold on, my bud. There has to be a range of how far this ideal of refraction can be applied, right? You can't just simply say, hey, all things that we see that define the globe model is reflection. There has to be a limitation. There has to be, right? There should be a control that you're able to say, okay, we should be able to put a pillar out 8 miles away, 9 miles away, 10, 11, 12. We should be able to mark the bottom of these pillars, right? And if we see these pillars more days than we don't, then we should have a problem. You should be able to do that. Instead, you're going to say, well, I have a feeling in my spirit, because I'm a softie. I think this guy came out on these perfect days when he knew the refraction was
You dropped out of your
at the perfect hours of those days. He scheduled it to go out on a Friday or a Wednesday at 4:32 p.m. to make sure there was a perfect refraction index 8 miles away, 9 miles away, 10 miles
Gene,
away, 11 and 20 miles away.
My question. You're not giving anyone any chance to talk.
Yes, I am.
No, you're absolutely not.
You're just short and you don't have an attention span for truth. I just broke down something very simply.
Well,
and you were impatient about
maybe that's true. Okay, but then you are even way
You're
worse,
just impatient.
Every time I start talking, you start interrupting, and it brings me for everyone else.
You've interrupted me several times. And I'm talking to you about basic things. This is why I'm saying it sucks that we have to like retard our entire conversation because you guys are unwilling to just look up the basics. You should be able to come to this argument and understand these arguments.
If you look up the basics, you'll see that there are mirages.
like if I can go to a concave Earth live. I can go to a concave Earth live, and I can have a conversation.
If you look
with,
at how the mirage works,
and I can understand what he's saying. I can understand his concept. And he can say,
no,
you still man that for me. And I'll say, yeah, I can still man that. What you're saying is the sky is inverted.
But you can't conceive of the fact that things on the horizon or behind the horizon can bend towards your eyes as well.
Oh, okay. Forever, right? Anytime.
See, he doesn't even listen because he's afraid of actual objection.
You think light bends toward your eyes and you can see things that are obstructed all the time. I get it. You think that light bends toward your eyes, and no matter how far it is, if you see it, then it
why would I
falsifies
see the sky in an inferior mirage? Why would I see the sky?
Because the sky's above it and it's a reflection. That's why.
Okay. So it can bend towards your eyes from above to your eyes, right? But according to you, it can't do the opposite.
I can't believe
namely
that
from
you're
behind the horizon upwards and then bending downwards.
I can't believe, Ruck, that you're having this argument like you haven't been having this conversation for weeks now. This is truly like a day one conversation.
You didn't answer my question. So it's asymmetric to you.
This is what I'm telling you, bro. This is what I'm telling you, bro.
Downwards.
This is what I'm telling you, bro. There's a whole section. Hold on, my bud. Hold on, my bud. Hey, my bud.
But it cannot bend up.
And this is another thing too, right? Dr. John D, the guy that the observation from earlier with the wind turbines.
You're still talking, by the way. You completely interrupted what I was saying.
I understand, but I'm addressing your deflection.
And then you started talking about my nuts, remember?
Right.
Then you started talking about my puberty and about my siblings.
Right.
And being a single child.
Only child.
Remember that? When I was doing the same
only
thing.
child. Come on, my bud. Stop.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're even worse.
So anyway,
you're interrupting every
Dr.
sentence
John
that I ever
he
made.
actually specializes.
Even the chat is calling you obnoxious.
So that's okay. So Dr. John D specializes in spectrophotography. That's actually his profession. He actually studies refraction, right? He actually studies refraction. He actually has video playlists that break down laser divergence and refraction. He breaks it down scientifically. He uses the scientific method for all of his observations. He collects all of the data, the temperature of the water, coordinates, what the weather is going to be that day and the next couple days, all right? And so this excuse, right? I could see where you could say, hey, there might be a variable in the sky that's causing this thing, but I don't know, right? We can go into it like skeptical, sure, right? But the problem becomes that we are making these observations consistently, right? You haven't made an observation yet. I have. I live in Michigan. I'm surrounded by the largest freshwater bodies of water on Earth. They are calling Michigan Flat Earth USA. Why?
Can I say something, Gene?
Because we can see too far.
Can I say something, Gene? Because at the end of your explanations, you always try to make some entirely other point. I get it. I get what you're saying. My point of contention, like the one that I care the most about, is that you say that you cannot have, theoretically, even if you do not believe in globe Earth, like let's say on flat Earth, we build a pretend globe part, okay, like some kind of curved surface that has the same curvature of the Earth. And let's pretend that there's a globe, right? Then still, due to refractive effects, you can see, in some cases, due to that temperature inversion refraction effect, you still can see things.
I don't know where you got that idea from. Who told you that? You've never made a long distance observation. Who told you that's a thing?
Because
where did you get that from?
Because look, if you accept that that refraction can cause a mirage effect from the sky towards your eyes, it can bend in the exact same way from behind and curve towards your eyes.
No, it only causes distortion. No, it only causes distortion. It only disrupts the light. Refraction, atmospheric refraction, never corrects things and makes it look apparent to you. It never takes something that's in a different. It never takes something from an area and corrects it and puts it in a different location. Like it's actually fixing it to make it, to assemble it, right? So this is the thing, right? If light bends, hold on, listen. If light bends, so it also distorts. It goes hand in hand. The more it bends.
Necessarily.
Yes, that's 100% necessary. If light bends, well, this
image.
is the thing.
Do you mean the image
We gotta
distortion?
stop, bro. You gotta stop, bro. You
I'm
gotta stop
asking,
interrupting.
do you mean the
You gotta
image
stop
distorted?
interrupting. You gotta stop interrupting. No,
I'm
I'm gonna
asking a
explain to
question
you.
so I
I'm gonna
understand you
explain, but
better,
you gotta
Gene.
stop. I'm gonna explain, but you have to stop. I'm going to explain, but you can't just ask 5 questions, bro. Stop. So what I'm saying to you is stop interrupting. No,
I'm
I'm gonna
asking a
explain to
question.
you.
I might have lost him. I don't know what happened. Maybe the signal's bad. We'll come back.
As far as the
He was
core of
cooking.
the Earth? Yeah. No evidence for a core of the Earth.
Let's go back, because I don't want to get into that and forget about him. He's in the middle of cooking somebody on refraction, which is something I really wanted to learn. Like, I know about all this, but I really want to know why they're ignoring that, why they're saying the curve of the Earth is causing things to be below high level when it's a accumulation problem, and not talking about how it should just be refracting to eye level. There shouldn't be a drop on either model visually. Yeah.
Inefficient tool to use to pinpoint where things are.
Why?
To pinpoint, because we need radar to be 100% accurate.
No. Why would air make that impossible? Why are you saying this? I'm talking about refraction.
Okay, this is why.
So
this is why. This is why.
Change in refraction index.
I'll explain. Because the refractive index range of air isn't wide enough. It isn't a variable that's has a range enough to make EMF change within it. So the
how do you explain
refraction, hold on. I'm saying something. So
how do you explain
hold on, I'm saying something. You're not going to get your question answered when I'm saying something. You can ask it the third time. I'm in the middle of saying something. I'm going to try it again. I'm saying something, right? So if you take the refractive index of air on its worst day, its lowest day, it'll be 1.00027, right? And on its best day, it'll be 1.00031. Right? Now, run Snell's law. Go ahead and run Snell's law of the math, and then you contrast air to air on its best and worst day at any angle you want, and you tell me how much that angle changes. So I'm almost done, bro. You can't just cut me off. I'm almost done. And so in contrast, what you do need, and this is the description of Snell's law, you need a completely different atmospheric index range to work with. And that would be the contrast of gas to liquid, gas to a solid. The only thing that you get to play with if it's air to air is temperature and pressure. You don't get any other variable to play with. None. And that's not enough to make something be seen from behind obstruction. That's not what happens.
Okay. So, Gene, I understand everything you're saying. However, the conclusions that you draw, I think, are entirely off. First of all, it's way more complex than just taking a refraction index from air. You need to take into account how higher up and lower down the refraction index changes continuously. So there's a whole continuous calculation involved, which involves an integral. But let's just look at this image from John, for example. Okay, if you're at the red dot, right? If you're at the red dot, you are seeing the light. The light is passing through the red dot. So if you're standing there and you're looking to the left, right, you will perceive an image as if it was coming from, as if you drew a tangent to the line at the end.
So you think I could project a movie image from behind a corner and it would look exactly fine? You think I could do that? You think I didn't hear the beginning of your sentence. You think I could take a movie projector, apply an atmospheric condition called refraction to it, and you think that I could project Grease with John Travolta onto a screen and the people watching it wouldn't see any distortion? You think that's physically possible?
You mean like in a outdoors movie theater, or what do you mean?
Well, this would be light, EMF, projecting from a source. Anyway, right? It would be right. Exactly. So you're telling me, right? Because we would be looking at the skyline of Chicago. Hey, it looks just like a skyline of Chicago over flat earth. But the Glober is telling me, no, you don't really see the skyline. That's actually a mirage. It's actually below the horizon, but it's being projected up and it looks exactly like it would on a flat earth. And I'm telling you, well, okay, well, how would you do that? That would be something crazy, like taking a movie projector, projecting it to go around a physical obstruction to present itself and look completely fine, undistorted, right?
Okay, Gene,
this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. When light bends, it also distorts. This laser is an example of it, bending through two different mediums. There's two different mediums in this tank, by the way, two different ones that have two different refractive indices. Air doesn't have that extreme contrast. Right?
Okay, but that's
and when it does, and when it does, and when it does, and when it does,
in air it appears at long distances. In this medium, it appears in short distances.
And when it does, it's when there's heat that's involved. So if you're driving down the road in Arizona and you can't see the car tires in front of you, it's not because it's over curvature. That's just distortion. That's distortion from a heat variable, right? That's causing
But you said it was a reflection from the sky.
Yep. It's the reflection on the surface from heat that's bending the light to then reflect the light from what's above, like a mirror.
Gene, Gene,
like
I was trying to say something, but you completely hijacked the conversation, Jen. I just asked you a question, right?
You're just so lost, my bud. It's it's just so boring that you just can't look this up yourself, my bud. But this is boring, man. It's just like I wish we had better conversations.
No, I think you fundamentally do not understand what is going on.
I do. You don't know the basics.
That's what I'm gonna see.
You do. I just explained it. I understand this, and honestly,
I'm not going to ask you to explain it. I'm going to explain to you, and I'm going to ask you if you agree or not.
Dr. John D, who specializes in spectrum photography, has
you're
broken
doing
down.
It again. You're even worse than I am.
He has this broken down pretty simply what an inferior and a superior mirage was. John had it up on screen earlier what an inferior superior mirage was.
That's
right?
good. That's good.
It's not even an argument. If
you see, if you see, if
you see the reflection,
is that fine, Gene?
If you see the reflection above the object, it's inferior.
Gene, is that fine with you? Because I'm not going to interact with you anymore.
It's superior. It's superior. If it's below it, it's inferior.
If you keep doing this, I'm just going to go out of here. Like this makes no sense whatsoever. This is not debate. This is pseudo debate. This is a lecture from someone who has.
You can get mad, my bud, but there's no 8" per mile squared curve. It comes down to it.
What are you talking about? This is entirely irrelevant.
Actually, it's
the crux of the conversation. Are you afraid that I'm going to completely debunk you, Gene?
Real quick.
Are you intimidated?
Real quick. I was listening. Real quick. Rook, I was listening to y'all's conversation, and your rebuttal was that the light is bending. In this image, you said the light is bending.
Not at all. I wasn't even coming close to what I was trying to say.
Okay, well, what was it?
What I'm trying to say is this. So in this image, for example, Gene would agree, light source from the left, there's a medium through which it travels that refracts it. It refracts downwards, and someone who would be standing at the red dot location, if that were a person or a person's eye, and you would be looking to the left, then what you would be seeing if there was actually multiple lasers pointing, well, not lasers, but like light rays, lasers being a model to show how a light ray would travel.
You know what this image shows, bro? I'm gonna help you comprehend it real quick. This image shows that light has a finite distance it can travel in this medium before it gets bent all the way down.
Because of what? What is the bending?
The medium.
What is the cause?
Medium.
Yes, and how do we call that effect of the bending of the medium?
Okay, so the medium is bending light. It doesn't. You see the ground, how it's flat.
That is refraction. That is refraction.
And it has no bearing on what the shape of the bottom of the tank is at all, ever. So
no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what we're talking about. Okay. So we're standing at the red dot. You look at the left, right? Mm-hmm. So what the person would see standing at that, with his eye on the, or her eye on
with the flat base, dot, go ahead. The flat base over the flat base, go ahead. The object higher.
Looking to the left, it would perceive as if the light ray is coming from above the source of that light.
I get it. However, do you see in the example the entire time the base is flat?
Yes.
Okay, and we're talking about light bending, making objects appear higher.
Yeah, but let's forget about what we're trying to prove here.
So we're agreeing, Brooke. We are agreeing. There's a flat base, and light bending in the medium would make objects appear where they shouldn't be, where they're not physically at. We are agreeing.
Okay, now tilt your phone a little bit counterclockwise.
Do you understand what it means when we're agreeing?
Yeah, I'm moving on to the next thing that I'm gonna do. So tilt your phone counterclockwise in such under such an angle that the tangent right at the right spot, the tangent to that light ray, the green light ray, the tangent line there, that would be your new horizontal line, right? Okay. What does is where the tangent would intersect with the left edge of that tank. Okay. But it's under that point. Mm-hmm. The actual light source is under that point. Mm-hmm. Now imagine there would be a curve right under the bent light ray. Then you would be seeing a light source behind a curve where you would not be seeing it.
Okay, now that's
what
where
I'm saying.
this is the part where you, instead of imagination, like where you said I have to imagine some
This
shit.
is not imagination. This is an actual experiment.
You just said imagine. Imagine a curve.
I'm just saying that to you. You took your phone in the same way.
This is the part where you have to take, some credibility here, and you, instead of imagining this shit, you have to show me a curved surface with light making it bend to appear flat.
Okay, superior mirages.
What we're describing right here is a flat aquarium, a flat base with light bending that we both agree that would make objects appear where they shouldn't be, because light bends in a medium, in a dense medium. It'll always bend down towards the denser medium, always, forever.
Yeah, so things could appear from behind a curved surface.
Okay, even though they're over a flat base. There's a flat base. You're saying we got to imagine a curve. That's not how we do it.
I'm not going to
imagine your globe model. Come on, bro. Be real. Be real, bro. You're up here defending tooth and nail. Let's be real up here. You up here fucking defending tooth and nail, scoffing at everybody's fucking rebuttals and answers to your questions. And now your response is we have to imagine some shit.
I'm only laughing at Katie's ideas about electromagnetism. They make no sense, which also involve imagining.
You won't even address it right now. You won't even address it. Look, bro.
Well, here's the thing that I see
Address what?
that this kid doesn't seem to understand. We are also...
If you're not first, you're last. Correct. You would be correct in that assumption. We already have a guest request. Clock, you stay in the guest box and we'll take you once we hit 100 viewers. Once we find 100 of our friends that we just lost. Salute to you, DJ. Salute, brother. Second place is the first loser. Second place, you lost. And I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, buddy. If you're not first, you're last. That's a good quote. Honestly, I like that one. Like the live, people. Like the live. Comment. We are commenting like crazy down here. W chat. Yes, keep the comments rolling. Okay, keep them rolling. Talk about whatever you want. I don't care. No, I didn't draft any videos. I didn't make any videos today, Blue. I know. I let you down. I didn't make a video today. I know. I had something extremely paranormal happen to me last night at like 3 a.m, and it was not cool. It really freaked me out, and I got barely any sleep. So I rested most of the day to be ready for this live tonight. It was not cool at all. It kept me up a lot. Yeah, it was not cool. It was not cool. One of my child's toys started doing some stuff in their room, and it was not fun. It was actually pretty freaky. It was actually really freaky. Did pray to the creator, and it hopefully won't happen tonight. Hopefully we'll be good. Let's go. Yes, we're back. We're back. You're early. Let's keep going. I don't know what to do. Some Toy Story stuff? Kind of. It was, you guys want to hear the story? I'll tell it while there's not a lot of people in here. Okay, so my son, my 2-year-old, has a remote that he can click buttons on, and it'll make different noises and different sounds, and it will make songs and things like that, right? And I was fully asleep, and at like 2:45 in the morning, I don't know why, I usually don't wake up to like little sounds and things like that. But for some reason, I abruptly woke up and I heard a song playing from this remote. I'm getting chills thinking about it, talking about this. I heard a song playing from the remote, and I was like, okay, like whatever, maybe like something shifted, and it's just playing a sound. It was left on or something. I don't know. And so I didn't think much of it. I stayed in my bed. I kept listening, and different sounds started playing from the remote. It wasn't the same song over and over. It was different sounds. Obviously, it seemed like different buttons were being pressed. So I was like, okay, that's like totally not cool. Like, what the freak is going on here? I walked into the room, and right now my house is empty. My kids and my woman are on vacation. I'm completely alone in the house. And so I walked into the room, you know, ready for whatever it was. You know, I have my little pew-pew and I walk into the room, and the remote is on the top of the pile, and there's nothing obstructing it. There's nothing on top of it, and it makes no sense. So I asked if I could throw it away, and the woman said, no, you're tripping. It's a kid's toy. I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe
Damn,
it's like
bro,
an
I didn't mean to
electrical
put
thing.
you on blast, dog.
Right?
There's not a
Maybe
lot of
it's an
people and I'm
electrical
recording.
thing, but
I'm live.
it was not cool, dude. It was on the top of the pile
My
where
gosh,
nothing could
just
press the
crashed out. I had
buttons,
to
and the
switch.
buttons were seemed like they were being pressed, and multiple sounds were emitting from it in the middle of the night. I usually do not wake up to stuff like that, so it was really weird. I didn't like it. I did not like the vibe, to be honest. Anything but paranormal? Right, maybe. I don't know. It just freaked me out, dude. Not gonna lie, I had trouble sleeping, so I didn't make a video today. Big brother is watching? Right, dude. He's got me. The creator's got me, so we're good. Hopefully nothing else happens. Shoki, doki, doki.
What's up, man?
Got that salute.
Buddy, what's your age and what's the shape
Get
of
my
your
followers back up to 100K like him,
19
though.
round.
Oh, come on.
What do you want to talk about?
You know, like I always watch your streams, and there's like bigger conspiracies you're not talking about.
Okay, we're only talking about flat earth here. I don't care about your subjective opinion of the importance of conspiracies, and this is not a conspiracy. It is the hard facts and hard truth.
Yes, but
do you want to talk about the earth and its shape, or would you like to?
Yes, sure.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know what happened, but there we go. I guess he tried that song with a bunch of people. But that sounded like Travis Scott when I first heard it back in the day. That old song, you know what it is. I still think Kanye's the GOAT and knew what to do and knew he had to do it. To inspire everyone else to do it. He had to break the ice. Now we can throw a little bar on there about being...
the moon and the sun, are they...
They move.
Okay. So why do you think that the Earth is stationary?
Because every experiment in the history of mankind has suggested that the Earth is at a state of rest.
And what kind of experiments are those?
The Michelson-Morley experiment, Airy's failure, etc.
Can you go into more detail? I've never heard of those.
Okay. The Michelson, do you know what an interferometer is?
No.
Okay, it's basically using optics. It's using light. They pass light in an orthogonal path, which is basically
Alright, we're dropping frames, so we're going to try to revamp back up here. And see.
They tried to prove that the Earth was orbiting the sun, and they could not.
Disconnecting.
So Einstein came up with relativity.
So you think that the sun...
Thank you, Bushman.
...rotates around the Earth,
I think we're back.
Everything revolves around us. Yes, that is what we observe. So I believe that is what is to be happening. Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to see a quote?
Sure.
I wonder if I can find my Michelson quote, and it has the interferometer on.
I don't know what it is. CJ.go. I'm unable to stream right now.
So
I keep getting banned left and right. I can't last 5 minutes.
Oh, dude, it's not screenshotted, bro.
So I'm trying to build this back up.
Maybe I have it close to it, actually.
We blew up a few times on TikTok. Blowing up on YouTube again in the shorts. Let's get it. I go watch the earlier stream.
Yeah, we'll just do the Einstein.
Whenever the writers have like full,
this is a good one.
Bill read.
So the question whether or not the motion of Earth in space can be made perceptible in terrestrial experiments, we have already remarked in section 5 that all attempts of this nature led to a negative result. So.
Okay.
So if you understand astrophysics, that is the current position. That you cannot prove the Earth is moving, you just have to believe it.
Well, I do have an IQ of 182, but I don't understand astrophysics, no.
Well, you just have to study it. And okay. Any other questions?
No. That's
Fair
it.
enough. You have a good night.
Thank you.
182. 182. Buoyancy over gravity, right. Anything over gravity. Literally any theory, honestly, over gravity. Gravity sucks. Gravity's fake. What was this one concaver yapping about in the chat? I saw him yapping a little bit. Who was that? The chat's moving so slow, I bet I can find it. Where are you at, buddy? I remember you, buddy. Where are you at in this comment section? Yes, guys, there are people dumb enough to believe that we exist on the inside of a ball. I know. It's unfortunate. Did you get muted? I think you got muted. Yeah, I think you got muted, bro. Dang, I wanted to see your comment. Must have been rude. Yeah, there's people that think that the earth is concave, that we exist on the inside of a ball. It's the dumbest thing in the whole world, right? Yeah, it's pretty stupid. What up, Mr. No Sleep? It is ridiculous, Alicia. It is very ridiculous. It's the most untenable position in the entire world. They take perspective and they say, that's physical. That the sky seems to ramp down and the ground seems to ramp up. They say because the ground seems to ramp up, it's physically ramping up. It's really dumb. Okay, Michael, if you want to talk about it, let me know. Poor concavers, right? You have to misunderstand physics and science to be a glober or a concave earther. A concave earther, you gotta just be delusional. If you'd like tides explained to you, you're welcome to join the live stream. You can ask about tides. So every other star, moon, planet round, but we are flat. The earth measures flat and the earth is not a planet. So gotta get rid of your indoctrination of the heliocentric model. We're not a disk revolving around the sun like some of you guys think in a vacuum. The vacuum doesn't exist, right? The earth is geocentric. The earth is the basement of the universe. And the earth is not a planet. There's no evidence to suggest that the earth is a planet. So as per every experiment suggests, we are stationary. And if everything else is in motion around us, the entire cosmos is in motion, but we are stationary. That would mean that we occupy a special position in the universe, analogous to a central Earth, as Edwin Hubble said, right? More like a torus field in relation to what? The idea for the sun outside the dome.
Yo, the Earth.
Yo, what up, dude? How old are you?
You sub 3 on bro. You sub 3, bro.
Okay.
Oh god, you ugly.
Yeah. I dropped you in. Blue's definitely. I'm about to see a block right there. Blue, did we catch him? Oh yeah, every time. That's so good. Yeah, you can't come up here and say you suck. Oh, blah blah blah. I'm not smart enough to refute you. You suck. I don't have any points to talk about. You can just come up here and ad hom. You will be blocked by Blue. You will be blocked, and I will drop you. So, come on, little face paint. Don't take much to be a clown. Angel, what's your age? What's the shape of the Earth?
What's up, bro? I'm 19, and I believe what all the liberal propagandists fed me. I think the Earth is a globe.
Okay, fair enough. You could have been taught by a Republican, but fair enough. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I love flat Earth debates. I think my favorite thing to bring up is probably the sinking ship effect, if you're familiar with that.
How many times have you brought that up?
Honestly, I bring it up every time, and I get different answers just for why it happens every time.
Right. I can ask Globers why observations happen. I'll get multiple different answers. There's stupid people and there's smart people. You would agree, right?
No, I think everyone's smart.
Well, that's a pretty weird take. You don't think people have different IQs?
No, I just don't think IQs really mean anything.
Right. I don't think they're very valuable either, but pattern recognition, things like that, cognitive function differs between personalities and people, correct?
Yeah, it just feels like almost a red herring. What does it have to do with anything?
I'm just saying that there's dumb flat earthers and then there's intelligent flat earthers. So he'll get different answers based on the intelligence possessed by the human.
So can I guess the intelligent flat earther? Well, I mean, I think the one that I have a kind of an understanding for it a little bit is the atmospheric refraction, or the air density. Since the air is super dense, it that causes the sinking ship effect.
Do you know what that law is called?
Oh, well, I know just like it's called a refraction, right? Like when it's in the air, then also there's the atmosphere.
What is the law of refraction, though? What is that called?
Like, what does it mean? Or like, what do you ask?
No, what is the name of it?
Of refraction?
Yeah, the law of refraction.
I'm not sure.
It's called Snell's law. It's a law. So yes,
I actually did know that. Oh, I did know that.
Okay.
But yeah, like refraction is like when light goes through like one medium to another. But that's still like, you can look at all the visualizations and things of like, what atmospheric refraction is and how different forms of refraction happen and whatnot. And none of them really call for like a bottom up disappearing, like cropping away. Like that doesn't follow from atmospheric refraction. I don't know if that's what you want to invoke here. I don't know what your like best argument is.
So you're denying that refraction exists in the atmosphere?
I'm denying that refraction will cause like an object to disappear from the bottom up completely.
What is happening here?
That's like light going and like bending down through the water.
Due to Snell's law, it's refracting, correct?
Yeah.
So this is sugar water. Do you think sugar water settles towards the bottom or towards the top?
Probably towards the bottom.
Creating a denser medium towards the bottom, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you assume, say this is the Earth, would light refract down towards the surface, causing bottom-up disappearance?
Yeah, like if you had like a big laser pointer.
Light can be treated as a point of light. It travels in a singular path.
Yeah. Does this show it like disappearing from the bottom up? It just shows it bending down, it looks like.
If it bends down, would it get to an angle of 0 before the top of it?
Yeah, but it's in the water. This doesn't seem like a fair comparison.
This is just a small scale model, my friend. You can try your best not to understand it if you'd like, but it won't make the Earth round.
Yeah, but this doesn't show, like the effect I'm talking about is when the ship's on top of the water.
Would this path of light, if this was simulated in the atmosphere and it takes the same path based on density, right? Which the gas is, where's the densest part of the atmosphere?
Oh, like right down here.
The surface, right?
Yeah.
The light would bend towards the surface, like it is bending here towards the surface.
Yeah, I just think the problem here is that it's already in the water, like on a flat Earth.
Keep following. No, keep following. It's simulating the atmosphere. I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to be a flat earther. I can tell. I know, but you've got to show the audience what it takes to be a globe earther and have these conversations constantly. That's what I do with you anti-flat earthers that do this constantly.
Yeah, I feel like this is not good evidence.
Would this make the bottom of the boat disappear first, or would it make it appear to be higher?
Could I please just respond to what I wanted to say originally?
No, we're gotta continue the conversation. We gotta make sure you understand this. So, like,
what I was gonna say was relevant to what you just said, but then you
please
kept
don't
talking.
speak over me. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's not do that. I know it gets emotional when we're getting to talk. Again, we're speaking over me. Do we need to breathe together or something? You want to take some breaths?
I'm just letting you speak. I just want to get my point out now.
Okay. Well, if it's off topic, it's a red herring. I will dismiss it.
No, it's completely on topic. I'm just kind of zooming out and looking at this up. You understand specifically what I'm talking about is when a ship is on top of water and it's sailing towards the horizon and then it slowly crops away from the bottom up, right? This effect is only going to happen when it's passing through water, right? Through this dense sugar water, it's bending down.
This would apply to any medium based on density.
But you get to cut me off and I can't cut you off.
This would apply, no, because you're saying something insane.
Yeah, I know you think it's insane. You can tell me why it's insane when I'm done.
So you don't believe in atmospheric refraction? You don't believe in Snell's law?
Yeah, but this is showing refraction through water. But if on a flat Earth,
law say?
On a flat Earth, the ship wouldn't be going under any water. It wouldn't, like, from if you're looking at it from the
would it need to be yo, dude, you're trying. I know you're trying, buddy. You want to believe in your religion that the Earth's a ball, and you want to misunderstand refraction and do this again in another conversation. The whole point of what do you think the point of this is?
To show that light will bend down in dense water.
No, it's to show that it will bend down in a medium that is denser than the top of it. It will bend towards the denser medium. That is it. It has nothing to do with water. It's showing that in any medium that light is propagating through, it will bend towards the denser part of the medium.
Can I respond? So I agree with that, right? And if we were looking at it through underwater, right, then it would probably make sense, right? That the boat is going to like shift downward.
Is the atmosphere not considered a fluid?
Yeah, but the atmosphere stays as dense as it is through the ocean, like on the ocean, at the top of the ocean. It's not getting like more.
You disagree that the densest part of the atmospheric gases is at the surface?
No, we already agreed on that.
Okay, so would light tend towards the denser part of the atmosphere at the surface?
Yeah, but why would it be refracting more? Why would it depend on the distance to refract down?
Who said it was refracting more? Where are you
As the
getting
ship,
these sentences?
yes, as the ship sails away towards the horizon, it slowly crops away from the bottom up. That's what I mean. It's an exponential like
Yeah.
disappearance.
So if we say that this point of light is the bottom of the boat, and we had other lasers, the bottom of the boat would hit a 0 angle first. Yes or no?
No, if it was the
Based
laser,
on what logic? Based on what logic?
because the boat's on the top of the water. This is showing it through water. If it was through water, it's going to refract towards the bottom because it's denser. That makes sense, right? But the atmosphere isn't like
I've
that.
got to address the chat. Guys, this is what you have to do to stay an anti-flat earther. You have to act like you don't understand points. You got to juck and jive, do red herrings. I don't know how you're doing what you're doing in front of 300 people. I would not do this in front of 300 people. Be so wrong.
Why are you pivoting to meta? Why don't you engage with the conversation?
I was engaging with the chat.
You're pivoting to meta.
I have to do that when you guys come up and act like you don't understand the point.
Dude, no one's forcing you to do that, bro. You don't.
I know. I get the rules handed to me, and I do have to do that.
Yeah, well, you don't. Pivoting to meta is a bad faith technique. You shouldn't be doing that.
Okay. Well, pivoting to acting appealing.
I don't believe I'm arguing from incredulity.
You are. You're saying you can't understand why the boat would disappear bottom up when I'm showing you inferior mirage simulated on a small scale. You're denying Snell's law.
No, I'm not.
You're just appealing to incredulity.
You're just like you're gish galloping completely and like throwing all these labels on me. I didn't say any of these things. I didn't say I don't understand, nor did I say I'm rejecting Snell's law.
I'm addressing your fallacious
completely straw man. What is steal man my argument? Steal man my argument. I'll steal man yours.
You're simply saying that you don't understand. You're saying that this is simulated in water.
So you're doing this in front of 300 people right now.
Indian speaking over me. I thought you wanted me to answer you.
This is in front of 300 people, bro. Try to steal man my argument.
I just did perfectly. Can you repeat what I just said?
You said you think my argument is me saying I can't understand.
That is not what I said.
Okay, say it again.
So you weren't listening.
No, I completely listened. That's exactly what I heard. But if it's
continue the conversation. No more meta from you.
No more meta from me.
So this would not cause the boat to disappear bottom up based on what? If this same path of light is applied to the atmosphere on a large scale?
Yeah, if the boat was underwater and we were watching it underwater, I would.
Bro, if the boat was underwater. Yo. Okay. Oh, no water here, right? No water. I know you're acting confused or whatever. The atmosphere. Does light traveling in the atmosphere cause light to bend towards the denser medium, the surface of the Earth?
Yes.
So this same principle applies that is happening in this fish tank to the atmosphere. Yes or no?
Yes, but why is it?
Do not talk about water again.
Yes.
The boat is not in water. It's not a submarine.
No. I'm not granting that these are one and the same, right? If a boat is.
Do you know the difference between a submarine and a boat?
Yeah, you're gish galloping again. You gotta let me respond.
I'm questioning your intelligence, my friend.
Well, I'm questioning yours. You don't know how to debate. You have to let me respond.
Oh, I don't know how to debate. It seems like you're the one that doesn't know how to debate, my friend.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm letting you talk. I just want to say
incredulity is not a good show of intelligence.
Sure. So the reason I think that this is false evidence, I'm going to keep saying it, is because the boat is not under the same medium. The water is a completely different medium.
You already agreed that the path would take the same light? The path of the light would be the same.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't even know.
Do you have another point that maybe you understand?
Yeah, I don't think you understand this point at all, man.
Oh, what's an inferior mirage?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't understand mirages. You don't understand refraction. So next point.
This is why I don't think you know how to debate, bro. This is like debate 101. You don't ask people.
I'm just asking you your level of knowledge on the topic that
my argument doesn't involve that.
You're clearly answering that you don't know what Snell's law.
It's another red herring.
Could you tell me what Snell's law is? Define it.
Another red herring.
No, this is about refraction. What is wrong with you? What's a red herring?
Yeah, you're pointing at a piece of evidence that doesn't have to do with the argument.
And we're talking about refraction, and I'm talking about the law of refraction, and it's not on point?
Yeah, my argument has nothing to do with Snell's law.
Your point about the path of light has nothing to do with the law of refraction?
My point is that light is going to bend.
Wait, no, don't talk past. No. You're not getting it easy. Was that on point or was it not on point?
I'm trying to talk nice and slow for you.
Me talking the law of refraction, and we're talking about the path of light taken in a medium. Is that on point or off point?
Off point to what? In reference to what?
Holy shit. We're good.
You're intentionally vague.
Stay global, bro. Stay a little globy. Yo, this is what these psychopaths, and the kid, he was a nice kid. A nice guy, right? chill, little guy, trying to seem intellectually superior. There is no glober that is intellectually superior to the science of the flat earth. You can appeal to incredulity all that you would like, young man. It will never make the surface of the earth curve. It will never make the earth spin and rotate and move from a static state. It will never make the earth orbit the sun. Appeal all you'd like to logical inconsistencies and fallacious reasoning. It will not make the earth round. You jucking and jiving and, oh, buddy. Oh, the wizardry. Dude, holy shiz. I felt like I was talking to McToon for a second. That's a young McToon, dude. You have potential. You have potential in the globe earth community. Really? You could get a following acting like that, dude. With such pseudo confidence. You could really instill confidence in people's religious belief in scientism. That was some wizardry right there. Holy so. Bro, it baffles me, bro. It literally is saying to me, the wizardry. Like, I don't know how they do it, dude. I can't do that. I can't go up in front of globers on these debates and just juck and jive and act like I'm not following and tell people that are red herring when they're clearly on point. It's just wild, bro. Again, these debates and just jucking on my fellow is needed to maintain a belief in the globe earth. You have flash you and reset your brain every single night. That is what is required to be an anti-flat earther. Meow? What the freak? What are you saying meow for, buddy? Ravis? What are you saying? Hey, I appreciate the comment. It's better than nothing. If you ain't yapping, you better be tapping. But meow? What the heck is going on here, buddy? I want to reset my brain, Monkey. I want to reset my brain to 30 minutes ago before that conversation. Me too.
I never heard that one.
Jeez, not too far back, but I would love to forget that. I would love to forget that. Yeah. You guys know how it is. You guys do this. Come on, you do this. Trizit.
What's up?
Hey, man. How old are you?
I'm over 18. I believe the earth is round.
Nice, man. I appreciate you answering those starting questions. What do you want to talk about?
I just want to ask you about one thing.
Well, I'm just going to stop sending the encoder to the YouTube real quick break, and try to reset this. I want to see, I forget what I'm looking at now. TikTok. Yeah, I done forgot what I was doing. Okay, now TikTok. I gotta do something with TikTok. What was it? I do something with TikTok. I can't remember what the heck I was going to look up. We'll come back to them. Monetize, make money. What was it? We'll leave it here for a minute. Flat Earth proof. What was it? I don't remember. Oh. Just to show y'all we're not buying followers when I pop. Yep, see it automatically tells you active. Yes. Well, maybe it could work. I know YouTube takes them away. Facebook, other things will take your account down. I thought TikTok did too. See, look, it didn't take. Oh, wait, hang on. Who cares? I just want to get views. So we need to run my shit up here on TikTok before I get banned again. Oh, we moved. What happened here? Oh, we're back. See, just...
I'm not sugarcoating it anymore. You deserve
what's going on? We'll try to get...
Are you saying we should die? We should die for...
I want to get some more Caleb cooking people. Yeah.
Brian, what is your age and what is the shape of the Earth?
Hey, Brian.
My age is 40, and I'm kind of on the fence. I've been on the fence for a long time, so I guess I can't say for sure.
Well, we're looking for Globers right now. I appreciate you, but we're looking for Globers. You have a good one, especially if you've been on the fence for a long time. I'm sure it's an arbitrary question that, but anyway, appreciate you, brother. But we are not looking for confused Earthers. We're looking for direct opposition. If you're on the fence, you would not be considered direct opposition. Marco, get out of the guest box right now, buddy. Get out of the guest box, Marco, right now. I gave you 2 chances, and you spoke about the sky both times. You can try again tomorrow on our last stream of the week. You can try again tomorrow, brother. Z Augustine RP. Hey, man, what's your age? What's the shape of the Earth?
What's up, man? My age is 37. I think
that happens eventually in over the long period, and we've got a very small sun, and they'll actually last longer than this big, massive.
Watching and listening to you, and you have good points, but I feel like there's not a lot that you're able to prove other than, maybe some...
Science doesn't prove anything. You provide evidence. The evidence is that the Earth is flat.
True. I mean, I guess, I've watched documentaries. I've done some research myself and on these different things, but as far as one of the big things would be through the year, like the latitude through the year. Can you explain? So I mean, just as far as throughout the whole, just throughout the Earth.
What point on the Earth? What are we talking about? North, south, equator?
I mean, I guess we could pick one. It doesn't matter.
Is it tripping? Guys, are we not good? Hold on. People are saying that the audio is robotic. This happened yesterday. Guys, how is the audio? Sound is back to normal now. Okay. So yeah, you would have to speak specifically to a location, a geographic location, a GP, a general.
So I guess I'm on the West Coast. So the days will change. Like in the summer, the days are longer, and in the winter they're shorter. How is that possible? Because I get what you're saying as far as if it was a flat Earth and everything was going around and circling us, that, you could the sun could be further away and you could lose light and it could be night. I get that. But then when you have like the seasons, like the sun's completely gone way quicker in the day and it doesn't come back. It's not just like a day and night cycle. It's like the whole season is changing.
Based on the eccentricity of the orbit of the sun over the flat Earth, you will see more of the path if it's doing a more concentric circle, and if it's further doing a more eccentric circle or a larger circle, you will see less of the path.
Okay. So does that happen for everybody? So you're saying that's why you wanted specifics, because you're saying that depends on where you're at in the Earth. Okay. So what about, because I've seen like, the I can't remember what the name of it is, but the stone where you can see like the North Star all the time.
The Georgia Guidestone, that was blown up.
Yeah. You said it was blown up?
Mm-hmm. They blew it up.
Wow. Okay. Well,
it existed for long enough that Polaris should have shifted like a couple arc seconds out of that hole, and the fake Chandler wobble model of the Earth start debunking their ideas. So they had the video of it being blown up, but didn't get the video previous to the people walking up. How many people? It was really weird, really odd.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. I mean, regardless of later on, I feel like science should be able to be studied. Yeah, science should be able to be studied no matter what you believe. So it is pretty messed up. I did not know they were blown up.
There's other monolithic structures that have been set to the sky by our ancestors.
What we got here, folks?
I was gonna ask what the Guidestone was different stars, because like I said, I've done a lot of research and a lot of things can be 50-50, but as far as like the stars being visible from different latitudes, like different stars, how do you explain that? Is that something that?
Yeah, I can help you with that. That would be based on our limited vision, right? Like if we were, you would agree, right? You got to agree with this with me. If we were inside of a Home Depot that was 1,000 miles long, we both would agree we're not going to see the entire ceiling of that Home Depot, correct?
Right.
Okay. The same logic applies to the sky. The sky is extremely large. The Earth is extremely large. So we only see about 30 to 40% of the sky based on zenith angles. Based on we're us seeing in a domed vision. And this is what Stellarium uses to model an observer looking at celestial phenomena. Literally, this is the exact model. They model a flat baseline with a tangent or a perpendicular angle, like a 90-degree angle, a zenith angle. And this causes us to see in a sphere, in a domed vision, essentially, and not see the entire sky.
Okay. All right.
But now they're saying both of us are glitching. So I don't know if I have to reset the live. I don't know what the frick is going on. Squishy, you knock it off, buddy. You know what a zenith is, buddy. You knock that shiz off right now, buddy.
So, and I had one more question. I was watching earlier before you had to reset the live earlier, and the guy was talking about he seemed kind of dunce at the end of the day. But with your point, when you were saying,
which Jeff being dense?
It was the guy that
Was it the
sounded
guy talking
drunk.
about refraction? That guy?
It was the guy that you told to get water because he sounded drunk.
Oh yeah, that guy was wasted. Yeah.
But what you were making a point that I was curious about, as far as he was asking, well, what if you just fly one direction and will you not come back to the same point? Can you explain like what your evidence is of, like, if I just took a plane and I wanted to fly west, I wouldn't eventually come back to the same point? Say I took off in California and flew west, and then supposedly with the globe Earth, how we believe it, or how I believe it, I wouldn't come back around, cross the United States, and come back to California?
On both models, you would come back to the same point if you follow cardinal directions. If you dead reckon east or west, you will go in a circle. It's just like if you had a very large permanent magnet at the center of your house and you walk out into your neighborhood and you try to maintain east or west, your compass, say this is the permanent magnet of your house, right, on a very large scale. If you're trying to maintain east or west, the compass is obviously going to be pointing to the center where the permanent magnet is at your house. If you're trying to walk around your neighborhood and maintain east or west, you will go in a circle around your house. So same idea on a very large scale. If you follow a gyro compass in a plane, if you follow a gyro compass from a ship, from a naval ship, and you go east or west, you're going to go in a circle on both models. The only point that they could claim where you would not be turning relative to north would be the equator, and there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence that you do not have to turn and maintain a heading.
Right. So I get what you're saying. So say I'm rich and I say, hey, I want to fly you out and we're going to try to fly one direction. How would we fly one direction? Would we have to keep compensating for that as far as changing our direction?
Like we're ignoring a compass at this point. We're just flying in a straight line.
Yeah.
Well, first wind would deviate you. There's no way to go. There's no way to go in a perfectly straight line, right? On the ocean waves are going to be dynamically moving the bow, keeping it from a straight line. The wind is acting as a fluid on the plane that could be deviating it off of a straight line. But if you were to ignore your compass reading, then that you wouldn't end up at the same point on either model.
Okay. All right. Well, good points, man. That's all the questions I had. I like it. I'm gonna do some more research, and you might have changed me to a flat earther. Who knows?
Well, don't change yet. Research, internalize the argument. So if you want to tell your friends and family, you know what you're talking about, my friend. So keep studying it. You can check out my videos if you need more like the recorded debates that have already been done, further explanations on specific topics. You are very much welcome to join my request box and tell me, hey, send me some of your favorite debates. Send me some videos you think.
Yeah, I'll do that, man. Appreciate it.
Fair enough, brother. You have a good. W guest, dude. W guest. W. Marco, you can come up tomorrow. You can come up tomorrow, Marco, and talk about the vacuum of space. Come up tomorrow, buddy. For now, just watch. Just keep watching. Keep tapping. Keep tapping and yapping in the chat. I appreciate it. All the yapping and tapping going on, I'm really paying attention. I see who's liking. I see who's commenting. Always reading it. Dude who stuff. Hey, man. What's your age and what is the shape of the Earth in your opinion?
I'm 22 and the Earth is a globe.
Okay, what do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about spin.
Okay, the axial rotation of the Earth. Do you have any evidence that the Earth is revolving on an axis at 1,037 miles per hour at the equator?
Foucault's pendulum.
Foucault's pendulum. What if I showed you? We'll just show you. We'll just show you. So this is a PhD out of a foreign country. His name is Andre K.T. Assis. He wrote a book called Relational Mechanics and studies astrophysics and physics itself. And let's see what he has to say about it in his book Relational Mechanics. I think you might find it pretty interesting. He says the flattened figure of the Earth, or Foucault's pendulum, can no longer be utilized as proof of the Earth's real rotation. What do you think of that quote? 1 out of 10.
I don't like it very much.
You rate it a 0?
I think it's most likely being taken out of context, but I have to read it myself. You said the book was titled Relational Mechanics?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's based on Mach's principle and Newton's bucket experiment. That's his reasoning.
I'll look into it later. On Mach's principle and what?
Newton's bucket experiment.
What's Newton's bucket experiment?
Newton hangs a bucket from a string onto a fixed position, like it's not a tripod, but essentially like a square metal, how would I say this? It's basically like the idea where it's something like you would hang a pendulum from. And he hangs a bucket from it on a string that can be twisted and torsioned. And he torsions the bucket, he spins it, and then he lets go. And what we observe is the water inside of the bucket, due to centrifugal forces, rises on the interior of the bucket. It rises up, it creates a concave shape. And essentially what Mach's principle is saying is that that would happen if the Earth were spinning, right, at the correct rate, and it was in an independent reference frame. And also you could assume that if the entire universe was rotating around the Earth, that there would be a force applied causing a centrifugal force to cause the water to rise around the bucket either. There's no distinguishing between either. It'd be relative motion. So you could say, sure, the Earth is spinning, causing a Foucault's pendulum, or you could say that the entire universe is rotating around us, inducing motion into a Foucault's pendulum.
I think I see what you're saying, but
do you want to see an Einstein quote admitting this too?
It makes a lot more sense that the Earth rotates rather than the entire universe is rotating.
Well, what do we observe when we go outside? Does it seem like the universe is rotating?
Relatively.
Yep. So not too insane, right?
I guess.
That if you were to have your mind entirely wiped of all physics and science and go observe the sky and see the horizon and see the stars move from horizon to horizon, the sun move from horizon to horizon, the moon move from horizon to horizon, do you think you would assume that you're falling over backwards or that they're moving?
Probably that they're moving.
Right. So it's just a default position. To claim anything other than that is an extraordinary claim, which would require extraordinary evidence. And due to relativity, admittedly, the foundation of physics right now, you cannot prove that the Earth is moving in space or spinning. You just have to believe it, bro. I'm trying to find an Einstein quote.
So, I think, thinking about it more, I don't think that the universe spinning would cause any sort of centrifugal force or Coriolis force on the Earth.
Then you would be disagreeing with PhDs of astrophysics. You would be disagreeing with Einstein himself. Do you think that you're smarter than Einstein?
Why?
Hold on, let me read you a quote. I just found it, and I found the freaking non-translated version of it. Piss me off, dude. Oh, there it is. Boom. So this is what Einstein said concerning Mach's principle, which he is very aware of. Ernst Mach was not a stupid person. Very renowned physicist. If one accelerates a heavy shell of matter, like let's say the firmament is around us, and it's more local, which would cause a more force to be induced into the ether and the atmosphere. If one accelerates a heavy shell of matter, then a mass enclosed by that shell, like the firmament, experiences an accelerated force. If one rotates the shell relative to the fixed stars about an axis going through its center, a Coriolis force arises in the interior of the shell. That is, the plane of a Foucault pendulum is dragged around. So you would be disagreeing with not only Andre K.T. Assis, you would also be disagreeing with Albert Einstein himself, my friend. You can do that all you'd like, but it will not make the Earth spin.
But let me give my reasoning here. So, in the example that you gave of the Newton's bucket experiment, that doesn't invalidate the Foucault's pendulum for one reason, and it's the no-slip boundary condition. When you have a fluid,
the no-slip boundary condition?
Yeah.
And what chat GPT source are you using?
It's not ChatGPT. I learned this in my fluid mechanics class.
Okay, so non-slip what?
Non-slip boundary condition. It just says that if you have a solid fluid interface, that the solid, and then momentum propagates through a fluid. So eventually, if you start rotating a cylinder with a fluid in it, the fluid will also start rotating. And if the fluid is rotating, of course, it's going to experience a centrifugal force.
Yeah, like the bucket, like Newton's bucket experiment.
Yeah. But it's not because the bucket is rotating. It's because the bucket starts rotating, and because of the no-slip boundary condition, the momentum from the bucket's rotation gets transferred to the fluid inside, rotating the fluid, causing the centrifugal force.
So the water is spinning because the bucket is spinning. No?
it starts spinning because of the bucket spinning. But
so the entire universe was rotating around the Earth constantly since the beginning of time.
Right, but the Earth isn't a fluid.
The atmosphere and the ether can be considered fluids.
The atmosphere is a fluid. I don't believe that the ether exists.
Okay, well, then you would be denying Dayton Miller's observations and people like Maurice Elias.
I don't know.
Do you know what a paraconical pendulum is?
I do not.
Okay, a paraconical pendulum is not a fixed axis of, it basically is like a Foucault's pendulum is, you could take like a tripod, you could take a fixed point that does not move, right? And you hang a string and put a pencil or something, right? And you show the marks and show that it deviates. A paraconical did this, and what he observed is that you get extreme azimuth readings, extreme differences in azimuth readings during lunar, it had solely lunar effects based on the sky, literally itself, that cannot be explained in the framework of relativity. So much more than 15 degrees per hour, sometimes up to like 18 degrees per hour. And he would do this for months at a time leading up to a solar eclipse to show that it was a real effect. And he had hundreds and hundreds of scientists come and watch it, and watch the data and be recorded and everything during these solar eclipses, and nobody could refute it. They don't even say that it was fake because so many people watched it be done. So if the Earth was rotating and that was causing pendulums to deviate at 15 degrees per hour, how do we explain the paraconical pendulum experiments with Maurice Elias?
So just to make sure I'm understanding, the paraconical pendulum is a pendulum hanging from a ball.
It's a rigid rod, essentially, connected.
But it's like, why can't I remember the word? Like the joint. The ball is the joint.
Yes, it is the joint at the top. Yes, that is allowing the independent movement on all axes. Yes.
Why is this different from a Foucault's pendulum?
Because a Foucault's pendulum, you would agree, would be a fixed point, like a rod or something like that, not a ball.
But isn't this also a rod?
It is a rod connected to a ball. So allowing it to move on all axes.
Right, it can move say an X and an Y, basically.
It can move on all, in all azimuth directions. Yes.
I'm pretty sure the Foucault's pendulum can too.
No, a Foucault's pendulum would not move as much as a paraconical pendulum because it's a fixed point.
What do you mean by a fixed point?
Like if you had a tripod, two tripods, and you run a steel rod across the two tripods and level them to the same point, you would just tie the string to that rod. So it's not a ball. It's not something that can deviate as well. The readings would be less accurate than a ball. A ball would allow for real pseudo forces to apply to the actual readings. It would allow more movement. You would agree?
Somewhat, yeah, somewhat.
That's just you can't say somewhat.
I don't see why. It feels like if it was attached to a ball, it would experience the same forces as the Foucault's pendulum.
It does. It typically reads 15 degrees per hour. But what happens during a solar and lunar eclipse is deviations during solar and lunar eclipses. Does the Earth spin faster or slower during solar or lunar eclipses?
I'm not sure.
It does not. The claim is that the Earth is so constant, right? It is a perpetual motion machine constantly. It's constantly rotating at 1,037 degrees per hour. So you would have to explain, if you want to suggest that Foucault's pendulum is caused by the real rotation of the Earth, you would also need to explain the readings done by Maurice Elias with the paraconical.
You're right, I would. I cannot explain those at this current moment.
Nobody
but
can.
I'm sure they have an explanation.
There's no, it's considered paradoxical, my friend. You could look into it, but there's no refutation. There's no explanation.
Then let's talk about the ether. You mentioned
I can send you a book. It's called The Anisotropy of Space. It's very good, my friend. I'd recommend you read it.
Okay, I'll check it out. You mentioned the ether exists. Why do you say this?
Because light has a preferred directionality as observed in one-way transmissions of GPS from east to west and west to east, as well as Dayton Miller's reading from different altitudes of the difference in the speed of light with interferometers.
I have an explanation for the east to west thing, but you're not going to like it.
You're going to say the Earth is spinning?
Yeah.
You'd have to prove the Earth is spinning.
Yeah.
Or it could be the ether having a specific directionality. You would agree that light travels faster in a moving. If we simulate a river, light will travel faster with the river's current than against the river's current. You would agree?
Yeah, that's like the Michelson-Morley line of reasoning.
No, that's just what we observe in experiments.
Yeah, but that's like when they're teaching you like special relativity, that's typically the example they use.
Yeah,
and then
so the same idea would apply to a luminiferous ether that is dynamic in its motion against the stationary Earth. If the ether wind is going in a preferred direction, the light would travel faster with the ether wind than against the ether wind. So it's relative motion. You could say, theoretically, the Earth is spinning. And then you could also say, theoretically, the ether is put into motion. And now you need evidence for these claims. And the claims of Dayton Miller also, what happens is, as we get higher in altitude, we measure more of a fringe shift. He did over 200,000 readings at Mount Wilson, a mile high in altitude, and he observed a faster speed of light at Mount Wilson than he did at sea level, which is very paradoxical.
That would make sense. Just because if you're higher in the atmosphere is thinner.
No, they did not explain it by the density of the atmosphere. That was not Robert Shanklin's or Albert Einstein's explanation. That would not account for the fringe shifts, my friend.
With measuring the refractive index of the air, and you do that with interferometry, with fringe shifts.
Okay.
So changing.
Why does it go faster at higher altitudes than lower? And it's not the density of the air.
That's the explanation that I'd give, the density of the air. Because
that's not what Robert Shanklin, and that's not what Einstein said, though. The problem is the amount and the difference in the fringe shifts cannot be explained by density. It would not. That would not make any sense. You think from the surface of the Earth and only a mile high in altitude that the density difference could explain the fringe shifts observed? You have to look at Dayton Miller's observations.
Interferometry is pretty sensitive. I don't know how big the fringe shifts were, but interferometry is pretty sensitive. Like when I was doing the experiment measuring the refractive index of the air, we pumped down the density of like it's like a little chamber, and you pump air out of it, and the shifts, like the fringe, they change quite a bit. It goes through multiple cycles of change.
Yep, there's never a null result. Right, I agree. There's always a fringe shift. Even in Michelson-Morley's experiment, there was a fringe shift.
Yeah.
Totally agree. The Robert Shanklin, they employed Robert Shanklin. They paid him good money to go through Dayton Miller's data, because Einstein said if Dayton, let me read you a quote. I think you'll find this quote very interesting. Especially, are you in astrophysics? What are you in?
Physics.
Just physics, 1, 2?
What do you mean 1?
Like, are you like far into physics? Like, you have a bachelor in physics?
Sorry, my phone went on like an update screen really quick.
You're good.
What do you mean by 1 or 2?
Typically, there's like classes like physics 1, physics 2. I don't know. I've never been to college, but are you like a bachelor? Are you an associate's in physics? How far are you?
Almost bachelor's.
Cool. Very cool, dude.
I finished all of my physics credits.
Okay. Well, Einstein said about Dayton Miller, he's a very important person. Have you ever heard of Dayton Miller?
I have not.
That's rough, right? That's they teach a very, very concentrated line of thought in college. You're not going to get all of it, right? You're not going to get the contrary evidence, right? I believe that I really found a relationship between gravitation and electricity, assuming that Miller's experiments are based on a fundamental error. Otherwise, the whole relativity theory collapses like a house of cards. Rate that one out of 1 to 10. What do you think of that one?
That one's okay. What's
good.
the relationship?
The relationship is the speed of light at different altitudes. You literally have to assume that it's based on a fundamental error or everything collapses. Everything. Because the gravitation is said and postulated to travel at the speed of light, no? Tell me this one, dude. What do you think of this one? The positive ether drift observed shows a real ether exists and moves relative to the Earth. Relativity's rejection of this ether cannot account for the sidereal and cosmological effects detected. 1 out of 10. What do you think of that one? So not only did he observe a difference in the speed of light at these altitudes, a mile high in altitude, but they had direct cosmological correlations to what was happening in the sky, as well as sidereal rotation of the sky.
Okay.
Suggesting that the sky is implying a pseudo force, call it a Euler force, call it a centrifugal force, call it a Coriolis force, I do not care, but it is implying a force into the ether, and there is an ether wind that is observed, and it is different. If the Earth is spinning at a fixed rate, you should observe 15 and only 15 degrees per hour, and what we observe is a difference in altitudes as well as latitude and longitude. And seasonal effects, cosmological effects. The speed of light is not a constant, my friend.
Okay. I need to look into it more. I'll write this
Check
down.
out. So there, in Maurice Elias loved Dayton Miller, and he hated what was done to Dayton Miller. He was essentially thrown to the wayside. His evidence was ignored so that relativity could triumph into the. They literally threw Dayton Miller and Maurice Elias under the bus completely, and just said that whatever. They just basically ignored their results. And they specifically, what you'll find with the data interpretation of somebody like Robert Shanklin, he said that it was temperature differences that could cause this type of an effect. That's new. So he didn't say density. Him and Einstein did not say density. He said temperature differences. And then we have quotes from Dayton Miller. I think this one was made into a quote too. Let me see. And Dayton Miller fully accounted for temperature differences. He covered the entire apparatus with cork to shield it from temperature differences, as well as he did readings. He did readings of temperature throughout the entire readings, and there was no high.
It's very hard to measure temperature gradients.
Okay, well, he did. What do you mean it's hard to measure temperature? Do you think it's hard to measure temperature fluctuations?
No, spatial gradients in temperature.
Yeah, we're not talking about spatial gradients. We're talking about the fluctuations relative to the apparatus in a localized system, in a shed, essentially.
Okay.
So the trouble with Professor Einstein is that he knows nothing about my results, Dr. Miller said. He says he's been saying for 30 years that the interferometer experiments in Cleveland showed negative results. We never said they gave a negative result, and they did not, in fact, give a negative result. He ought to give me credit for knowing that temperature differences would affect the results. He wrote to me in November suggesting this. I am not so simple as to make no allowance for temperature. So he very well controlled that. You can't explain it with temperature either. So, but check out the anisotropy of space. Maurice Elias also did a really good analysis. If you just look up Maurice Elias analysis of Dayton Miller's data, you will find his paper. It's a free PDF. It's out there for everybody. I'd recommend you read that paper, as well as I can send you a book called The Dynamic Motion of the Ether, written by James Dimeo, or you can search James Dimeo's website. He's also a PhD in astrophysics and physics. That suggests that the ether might have been ignored.
Okay.
Thank you, Tron. Thank you, brother, for the super
You
live.
mentioned, I think, like 3 books so far. The first one was Relative Mechanics or something like that?
Relational Mechanics.
Relational Mechanics.
The Anisotropy of Space, written by Maurice Elias, as well as the dynamic motion of it's like the dynamic ether wind, or so. Just look up James Dimeo. James Demeo.
All right. Well, I'm not going to try and prove gravity because you're not going to like any of my arguments. But
You would
could
argue for
explain
relativity,
that?
right?
Huh?
You would argue that gravity is bending and warping of a fourth dimensional space fabric creating gravity wells, correct?
Well, that's our best explanation for it so far, but you can't
explain
measure.
flat rotation curve problems with galaxies or the cluster rotation problem. Right? Problems.
Well,
Problems on the quantum scale as well as the cosmological scale. Okay. Really not doing too
Well,
good.
there's no problem with flat rotation of galaxies.
How do you explain the flat rotation curve problem?
Doesn't gravity have an inverse square law relationship with mass?
Yeah.
So why is it all spinning at the same rate from the center of the disk to the exterior of it?
Conservation of angular momentum and propagation of angular momentum through a fluid.
Inverse square law of gravitation, my friend. There's a reason it's called the flat rotation curve problem in astrophysics books.
The galaxy can be modeled as a fluid. I don't know how old it is.
I don't care how you model it. It's defined in inverse square law of gravitation.
Angular momentum propagates.
Oh, yo. No. I don't like that one. It doesn't. No. Sorry. Don't love that one.
How would you explain the acceleration downward then?
Based on, you would agree, electric forces hold everything together, correct?
Most things except for the nucleus of an atom.
Right. And just so we're clear, I do not believe in atomism. Yeah. So I would argue that everything is held together by electric forces. No atoms. No weak, strong nuclear force. It's fake. So, just so I'm being completely honest with you.
Then what about
I would say electric forces.
What about nuclear reactions?
Yeah, they could be converting energy through boiling and things like that. That is my opinion. Boiling water.
Well, they do. They boil water with it. That's how it works.
Yeah, the energy, you're claiming that the energy is coming from this atomistic interpretation. I would claim that the energy is
chakras and energy centers.
That's not evidence that tiny little balls construct the entire universe, my friend.
But what is the thing that the energy is coming from?
I don't know. I don't work at these facilities. I don't know. Do you work there? Do you have a video of atoms nuclearly reacting? And
no, but they're measurements. You can make measurements of them nuclear reacting.
Are you under the impression that you can see an atom with visible light?
Not with visible light.
So it's unobservable. You have to assume electron microscopy, which is again assuming the existence of electrons. And I obviously don't believe in electrons or protons, right?
I'm not sure you need electron microscopy. I'm not certain about this, but you might be able to do it with just really, really high frequency light waves.
No, you need electron microscopy.
I know that if you shoot X-rays at a crystal, you can see the crystal structure. You can see where the atoms are.
CGI render some sort of.
No, it's not a CGI render. You get a pattern, a diffraction pattern, and from that diffraction
that
pattern,
wouldn't be visible light. It's not an observation. That would be a rendering.
Well,
that's a
I guess you
crystal,
can't
not
see
an atom.
X-rays.
We're talking about.
You see the locations of the atoms.
No, that would deny Heisenberg's principle, my friend.
No, the Heisenberg's principle applies to anything smaller than an atom. There's a certain scale at which it applies.
No. I think the uncertainty principle applies to atoms, electrons, protons. It matters not.
It definitely